The Priestess's time travel. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 51 Ancient Canon Fodder Female 1. Su Qingni carefully chose the position where she sat, 5 meters away from the mountain path. She had her back to the direction of the mountain path, and the big trees behind her and the wild grass and shrubs around her blocked her body tightly. Even if someone passed by on the mountain path, they would not notice that there was someone on the side of the road. She could hear the movement on the mountain path with her ears and hide from passers-by. Not to mention asking for help from passers-by. Who knows what passers-by would think? She is just a weak woman now, and she doesn't even have the strength to kill a chicken. How can she resist if she encounters a bad guy? She is facing the direction of the forest. If there is a wild animal over there, she can find it in the first time and run to the mountain path. Although this area is a mountain path, because it is a north-south land, there are not few passers-by, and someone will pass by every once in a while. As long as she is lucky enough to meet someone on the mountain path, she can avoid the danger brought by the wild animal. Closing her eyes, Su Qingni checked the memory of this body. The owner of the body was Su Qingni, a young lady from an official family, but one day, a disaster struck. Her father was convicted for no apparent reason, and the whole family was imprisoned. Later, her father was beheaded, her mother committed suicide in prison, and her eldest brother, second brother, 2 sisters-in-law, her, and 3 concubine sisters were sentenced to exile to the border. On the surface, they had a way out, but the hardships on the road to exile were a fatal road for those spoiled people like them. The eldest and second brothers were men, with better physical strength and bodies that could still bear it, and perhaps they could reach the border alive, but the women were delicate and weak, and had never suffered, so how could they withstand it? The eldest sister-in-law and a concubine sister died of illness on the way. Another concubine sister, Su Qingni, couldn't stand the hardship, so she used her body to exchange food with the people escorting them, in exchange for being able to ride in a carriage instead of walking on her feet. Su Qingni not only betrayed herself, but also set her sights on other female relatives. She herself was already filthy, and the other 2 sisters still wanted to be innocent? Su Qingni hated Su Qingni the most, and instigated the soldiers escorting the prisoners to attack Su Qingni. Although Su Qingni resisted, she was just a weak woman after all. How could she resist those big men who were soldiers? She was defiled by those people, and several of them had fun with her. Su Qingni was weak and could not bear the wanton play of those men. She was unable to catch her breath and passed out in fake death. Those men did not care whether Su Qingni was dead or alive. Many people died along the way, and they just threw the bodies on the side of the road and didn't care. If Su Qingni hadn't come, the child might have really died. This poor child. As a girl, not to mention being weak, she has no means of making a living. If she didn't have her own guidance, the child would definitely not survive. However, Su Qingni couldn't let the child die. It would be fine if she died before Su Qingni possessed her, and Su Qingni could directly use her body to act, but if she died after Su Qingni possessed her, Su Qingni would have to bear a lot of cause and effect. Therefore, Su Qingni had to save Su Qingni's life no matter what. Su Qingni sighed and raised her hand to rub her forehead. It was not an easy thing to let Su Qingni live. Not to mention that the child did not want to live. Even if she changed her mind and wanted to live, how could a weak woman live? Su Qingni was a talented woman who could play the piano, chess, calligraphy and painting, but these were not survival skills. The little girl could not cook, farm, raise chickens and ducks, wash clothes and dishes, hunt, and was useless. How to live? How to live? What's more, she was the child of a convicted official. If her identity was discovered, she would be arrested and sent to the border. Su Qingni sighed again and again. It was really troublesome. She missed the last 2 worlds. How good it would be to be a dandy. Why did she encounter such tragic people and things in this world? Alice, the effect of the medicine took effect, and Su Qingni felt a little better. She crossed her legs, with her 5 hearts facing the sky, and began to practice. Of course, what she practiced was not the Huninju or any kind of martial arts in the prehistoric world. The heavenly way of this world does not allow cultivation of immortals. Su Qingni practiced a kind of inner strength. Since the novels of Jinjuju, Gujuju, and when Dao were published and spread to the witch and lich world, the witch and lich races have been very interested in these so-called inner strengths. Each of them tried to make up their own inner strengths to compare with others to see whose inner strengths are closer to the 9 yang magic skills and 9 yin manuals in the novels. For people in the cultivation world, it is easy to make up low-level cultivation methods such as inner strength. Su Qingni found it interesting, and she and Empress Pingxin each compiled 1 or 2 inner strengths. The underworld belongs to yin, and Empress Pingxin named the inner strength she compiled 9 yin manuals. Su Qingni was very interested in Xiao Wuxiang Gong and compiled a method whose effect is consistent with the description of Xiao Wuxiang Gong. Now, Su Qingni is practicing the Xiao Wuxiang Gong she compiled herself. Although the girl's body was weak, half of her meridians were unobstructed, which was very suitable for practicing. Su Qingni practiced according to the Xiao Wuxiang Gong method. After only half an hour, she felt the sense of qi, and a trace of internal force formed in her danshan. Because of this trace of internal force, the girl's body got better and was no longer as weak as before. Su Qingni finished her practice and was about to get up, but her eyebrows moved. She felt that the girl's soul had awakened. Su Qingni closed her eyes. After a while, the girl opened her eyes, and her eyes had changed, confused, sad, desperate, and a little confused. The girl turned her head and looked around. This was not the underworld. The environment was a little familiar, as if it was on the side of a mountain road. So, she didn't die? Why didn't she die? The girl's tears flowed down. For such a dirty person like her, even the underworld would not accept her? The girl's tears flowed down. She really didn't want to live. After crying for a long time, the little girl took off her coat, tore it into strips, tied a stone to one end, and threw it towards a tree branch that was more than 1 meter high. The end of the stone passed over the branch and hung down. The little girl took the stone and tied it to the strip of cloth in her hand to make a knot. She then moved a few more stones and stacked them together, stepped on them with both feet, held the strip of cloth with both hands, and stretched her head towards the center of the strip of cloth. She was determined to die. The little girl was determined not to live anymore. Even if the underworld did not accept her, she could get rid of this filthy body after death by becoming a ghost. She didn't want to have such a filthy body. Damn. This girl wants to hang herself. Su Qingni acted quickly. Chapter 52 Ancient Canon Fodder Female Second. Su Qingni pulled the little girl's soul into the dream world she had built for her. Su Qingni only felt a flash before her eyes, and the environment around her changed. In front of her was a sea of flowers that stretched as far as the eye could see, and in the sea of flowers there was a palace filled with fairy air. A fairy stood at the door of the palace with a smile, looking at her. Su Qingni's legs softened, and she knelt on the ground, kowtowed repeatedly, "I have seen the fairy, I have seen the fairy." She must have died. But she seemed to have good fortune. After death, she did not report to the underworld, but came to the residence of the fairy. A few lines of poetry suddenly popped up in her mind. "I heard that there was a fairy mountain on the sea, and the mountain was in the void. The pavilions were exquisite and the 5 clouds rose, and there were many fairies among them. Among them was a person named Taizhan, with snow-white skin and a mixed appearance. Yang Ifei became a fairy after her death. Can she also become a fairy after her death?" But then, the little girl's expression dimmed. "I am already dirty and cannot compare with Yang Ifei, how can I be favored by the fairy?" Su Qingni saw the little girl lowering her eyes and tears falling down, a little confused. This girl's expression is a little wrong, shouldn't she be happy? Which mortal would not be happy to see a fairy? What's wrong with this girl? This time, Su Qingni did not install the system but pretended to be a fairy, because the ancient people did not understand what the system was. Sing the song according to the mountain you climb. Su Qingyi, why are you crying? The ethereal and pleasant voice reached the little girl's ears. The little girl stopped crying in surprise, raised her head, and asked blankly, You know my name." Su Qingni smiled slightly and did not answer, which was really unfathomable. Su Qingyi suddenly realized, "You are a god, knowing everything, how could you not know my name?" Su Qingni still smiled, and said to Su Qingyi, "Get up." But Su Qingyi shook her head vigorously, "It's okay for a little girl to kneel." Su Qingni said, "Get up, I'm not used to people kneeling on me all the time." Oh. Su Qingyi got up from the ground and stood there at a loss. Su Qingni said, "Do you know why I invited you to my fairy palace?" Su Qingyi shook her head, "No, I don't know." Su Qingni said, "You and I are destined to meet. Unfortunately, I came a step too late. When I found you, you were actually going to hang yourself." Su Qingni heard this and tears flowed down her face again. She choked and said, "Fairy, I am already an unclean person. I have no other choice but to die." Su Qingni snorted and said, "I already know what happened to you. Although you were abused by some beasts, it was only your body, but your nature is still pure. People can live a lifetime, so they should live well. How can they easily seek death? Do you know that suicide is also a big sin in the underworld?" "What?" Su Qingni was shocked and scared when she heard it, and said, I don't know. If she knew that suicide was a sin and she would be punished in the underworld, would she still commit suicide? No, because she knew that she, a weak woman, could not survive even if she didn't commit suicide. Alice, if she had known earlier, she would have waited for death honestly. This is what happened. Not only was she a criminal in the world of the living, she was also a criminal in the underworld. Why was her life so miserable? Su Qingni knelt down again and begged, "Fairy, please forgive me for my ignorance. Get up, I'm not the judge of the underworld, I won't punish you. Besides, you're not dead." Su Qingni said. Su Qingni blinked her eyes, "I'm not dead." Then she realized that the fairy must have seen her hanging herself, saved her in time, and brought her to her fairy palace. "Thank you, fairy, thank you." Su Qingni kowtowed repeatedly, "If the fairy doesn't mind, please accept me. I will work hard to serve the fairy and repay the fairy for saving my life." Su Qingni shook her head, "My fairy palace doesn't accept outsiders." Su Qingni was very disappointed, her shoulders slumped, and she looked like she had lost hope in life. Su Qingni said, "I know you are worried that a weak woman like you won't be able to survive. I will give you a treasure and give you some capital to stand on your own. Every night, I will enter your dream and teach you some survival skills." Su Qingni smiled bitterly when she heard this. "Fairy, my parents are dead. I don't know if my two brothers, a sister-in-law and a half-sister, can make it to the border alive. Almost all of my relatives are gone. What's the point of me living alone?" Su Qingni sighed. This girl's family was really pitiful. She said, "Your two brothers and sister-in-law made it to the border alive, but the life at the border is hard. They suffered a lot along the way and are in poor health. In another 2 or 3 years, they will die of illness one after another. But there are still 2 or 3 years left. You just need to learn the skills I teach you, and then go find them and help them regulate their bodies, and they will be able to survive. As for your youngest sister," Su Qingni sighed again, "she had the same fate as you. She was betrayed by Su Chunru and abused to death." Su Qingyi's face was full of anger and hatred when she heard this, and she asked, "What about that bitch Su Chunru?" Su Qingni said, "Su Chunru didn't end up well. Because of her actions, she was sent to the red tent after arriving at the border." Su Qingyi laughed so hard that tears fell from her eyes. "She deserves it, she deserves it." "What is the red tent?" "It is a place in the military camp that is specially for soldiers to solve their physiological needs. It is worse for women to enter that place than to enter a brothel." When Su Qingyi had vented enough, Su Qingni said, "Do you have the motivation to live now?" Su Qingyi nodded with tears in her eyes. "For my two brothers and my second sister-in-law, I must live too. The two brothers are her biological brothers, born of the same mother. For them, she must live and must learn skills to help them. Since she has a fairy fate, she naturally has to benefit her family." Su Qingni smiled and said, "I'll give you another reason to live. Your father was wronged and framed." Su Qingyi's eyes almost popped out, and she hurriedly took 2 steps forward, but then she realized Su Qingni's identity, and stopped abruptly. She stared at Su Qingni with an urgent look and asked, "Fairy, was my father really framed? Who is the enemy?" Su Qingni uttered 4 words, "Prince Changshuo." She looked at the little girl with sympathy, and did not say that her parents and family were implicated by her. In fact, the little girl did not do anything wrong, she just fell in love with a man she shouldn't like. It was just a girl Mui, it was not a big deal at all. But Prince Changshuo harmed the family in anger, he was a piece of shit. Chapter 53 Ancient Canon Fodder Female 3. Prince Changshuo. Su Qingyi was at a loss. Su Qingyi was familiar with this Prince Changshuo. There was no one in the capital who didn't know this prince. This prince was the youngest son of the previous emperor. He was very much loved by the previous emperor. Ministers with eyes could see that the previous emperor wanted to leave the throne to this youngest son. This made Prince Chengshuo very unpopular among his brothers. Prince Chengshuo was unlucky. Before he grew up, the old emperor died of an illness. He did not leave a will, and the ministers would not support him, an 8 or 9-year-old child, to take the throne. In the end, his brothers fought to the death, and the current emperor took the throne. Prince Chengshuo was also lucky. The emperor's brothers only had Prince Chengshuo left, and he was a child without any threat. In order to show the deep brotherly love, the emperor made him a prince. He was also a #1 figure in the capital. The emperor's people deliberately raised him crookedly. He was like the dandy boys in the capital, eating, drinking, whoring and gambling, and was good at everything. He only cared about pleasure and did not interfere in the affairs of the court at all. The emperor was relieved and gave him more honors, but of course they were all without real power. Prince Chengshuo was good-looking and was said to look like his biological mother. His peach blossom eyes were particularly attractive, which made the young girls in the capital itchy. Many of them regarded him as their dream lover and wanted to marry Prince Chengshuo. But this Prince Chengshuo lingered in brothels every day, and was unwilling to get married properly and have more mistresses in the family. In the end, the emperor arranged a princess for him. Prince Chengshuo only entered his wife's room on the wedding day, and never entered again. The emperor couldn't do anything about him. Therefore, many girls backed off and didn't want to enter Prince Chengshuo's backyard anymore. They were afraid of being widowed like the princess. Su Qingni said, "Our family has no intersection with Prince Chengshuo. How could he frame my father? What's more, Prince Chengshuo is just a ridiculous prince without real power. Where does he get the connections and ability to frame his own father?" Su Qingni did not say that Prince Chengshuo was a disguise. Su Qingni had to find the answer by herself, and she had to take revenge by herself. As soon as Su Qingni said this, Su Qingni nodded immediately. Yes, revenge should be taken by one's own family. How could she trouble the fairy? The fairy has helped her so much. The fairy will teach her skills. After learning the skills well, she can avenge her parents by herself. Su Qingni kowtowed to Su Qingni 3 times and said, "Please teach me some skills, fairy." Su Qingni stepped forward, imitated what Empress Pingxin did to her, and pointed a finger at the center of Su Qingni's eyebrows. This is a cultivation method. If you practice it every day, although you cannot live forever, you can prolong your life. The most important thing is that you can cultivate internal strength, have a strong martial arts value, fly over the eaves and walls, and kill people in the army. Although she didn't know what internal strength was, Su Qingni yearned for such abilities as flying over the eaves and walls, and killing people in the army. She secretly read many storybooks without her mother's knowledge. Among them, The Legend of Niangniang and the story of Hongxian were Su Qingni's 2 favorite stories. She admired Niangniang and Hongxian, 2 female knights, very much. Now that she had the opportunity to become someone like them, the little girl felt a little excited. Su Qingni said, "I left a trace of internal force in your dancing to lay a foundation for you. You will be able to practice much faster in the future." Su Qingni kowtowed repeatedly, "Thank you, fairy, thank you, fairy." Su Qingni took out a purse-shaped storage bag and gave it to Su Qingni. In Su Qingni's confused eyes, she cut Su Qingni's finger with a finger, squeezed out blood and dripped it on the storage bag. This is a storage bag. Although it is only half the size of a palm, it has a large internal space and can hold many things. Now that you have dripped blood to recognize the owner, this bag is yours, and only you can use it. Others cannot use it even if they get this bag. Su Qingni's eyes widened, holding the storage bag with both hands, both palms and wrists were shaking. "Is this a fairy weapon? Really, really give it to me." Su Qingni's voice was lingering. Su Qingni smiled, "Give it to you." Su Qingni took a deep breath, carefully put the purse in her arms, and kowtowed 9 times to Su Qingni. Horizontal ellipsis. The little girl under the tree opened her eyes. Su Qingni looked at the cloth hanging on the tree branch and was startled. Everything in the dream came back to her mind. She couldn't help wondering, did she really see the immortal, or was she dreaming? It shouldn't be a dream. In her mind, the cultivation method given by the fairy was extremely clear. This fairy was very meticulous and considerate. Not only did she give her the method, but she also gave her the annotations and explanations of the method, and even sent the acupuncture point map of the human body into her mind. Su Qingni sat cross-legged, followed the method in her mind and compared it with the acupuncture point map, and tried to practice. After a while, She felt the internal force in her danshan. When a cycle was completed, Su Qingni opened her eyes in surprise. It was not a dream. The method was real, and the internal force in the danshan was also real. So, she really met an immortal. Su Qingni hurriedly reached into her arms and really touched a small purse. Su Qingni opened the purse and saw clearly an incredible space, which was filled with gold and silver, and some strange pills. After reading the descriptions on it, Su Qingni felt that those medicines must be immortal medicines, otherwise how could they have such good effects? There were also some clothes in it, some of which were strange styles, and some were men's clothes. There were also women's clothes, but Su Qingni thought about it, found a set of men's clothes, took off her torn clothes, put on men's clothes, and then tied herself into a man's bun again. At first glance, the little girl turned into a thin boy. There was some food and water in the purse, that is, bread and mineral water, but the little girl had no experience. She just thought that the food and water of the gods were different from those of mortals. The food was soft, sweet, and delicious in the mouth, and the water was also very clear. After filling her stomach, the little girl walked down the mountain along the mountain path, but when she was about to reach the foot of the mountain, the little girl stopped. She was now considered a wanted criminal of the court. What if someone discovered her identity after going down the mountain? Even if her identity could not be discovered, she had just started practicing martial arts and still had the ability to protect herself. What if she encountered someone with bad intentions? The little girl hesitated, and then thought of those who bullied her. The little girl's face turned pale, and she finally did not move forward. She looked at the smoke rising from the foot of the mountain, and simply turned and headed in another direction. Chapter 54 Ancient Cannon Fodder Female 4. On the other side of the mountainside, there was a very dilapidated mountain temple. Half of the building collapsed, and the statues were moved away. Only a few very dilapidated houses remained, but they all had skylights. Su Qingni looked around and could only temporarily live in one of the relatively intact houses. Because the mountain temple had been abandoned, people at the foot of the mountain hardly came here. Su Qingni would not be discovered for a short time if she stayed in the temple. Su Qingni simply cleaned up the house she lived in, spread a layer of grass in the corner, took out a blanket from the storage bag and spread it on the grass, and then laid down with her clothes on. 2 months ago, Su Qingni could not imagine that she would sleep in such a dirty place, so sloppy and so careless. But after a long life of exile, she was very satisfied to have a place where she could sleep peacefully. Su Qingni sniffed, closed her eyes, and let the tears slide down from the corners of her eyes. Her body was very tired, although her spirit was still a little excited, but as soon as she closed her eyes, Su Qingni fell into deep sleep. When she fell asleep, Su Qingni took control of the little girl's body again. Sitting up from the ground, Su Qingni took a turn in the mountain temple in the moonlight and shook her head slightly. She was still a little girl who knew nothing. She thought that a dilapidated temple would be enough for her, but she didn't think about why the mountain temple was abandoned. Why didn't people at the foot of the mountain come up to worship the mountain god? You know, if you want to live off the mountain, it's necessary to worship the mountain god. There must be something wrong with this mountain temple, which made people at the foot of the mountain afraid to go up the mountain to worship the mountain god, and it became deserted. What's the problem? Su Qingni saw a circle of white bones around the mountain temple, some human and some beast. Judging from the cleanliness of the bones, the meat on them had been not clean. There are large wild beasts here. Su Qingni looked in the direction of the top of the mountain, her eyes condensed, and the momentum in her soul was suddenly released. Although she came to this world with only a trace of her soul, this trace of her soul's momentum was not something that anyone or any creature in this world could resist. A ferocious being in the darkness was so scared that it let out a weak cry from its throat, turned around suddenly, and ran away with its tail between its legs. It ran towards the deep mountains. Anyway, no two-legged beasts had come up to the mountain to feed it in recent years, and it had almost eaten all the animals around it. So it didn't want to stay there any longer, and went back to the deep mountains. Oh my god, there is such a big evil star on this mountain. It will never come to this mountain again even if it is killed. Su Qingni chuckled. So there is a big cat on the mountain. This big cat is smart. This mountain will be safe in the future. After driving away the threat, Su Qingni returned to the room, sat down on the prepared stall, and began to help this body cultivate internal strength. This body is still weak. Even if it cultivates a little internal strength, it is not of much use. Except for being able to walk a little longer, It doesn't even have the strength to kill a chicken. After running 3 cycles, Su Qingni returned the body to Su Qingni, but still pulled Su Qingni's soul into the dream world. Su Qingni opened her eyes and found herself in the sea of flowers outside the fairy palace again. She was extremely happy and walked towards the fairy palace. Not long after walking, she saw the fairy standing in the flowers. Su Qingni quickly knelt down to the fairy. Su Qingni flicked her right sleeve and Su Qingni could not kneel down. Su Qingni said, "We will have more opportunities to meet in the future. You don't have to kneel down every time you see me. It's troublesome." "Yes." Su Qingni obeyed obediently. Su Qingni said, "I know about your experience today. There are some things you did wrong. Now I point them out. You must remember them firmly and correct them. Don't make the same mistake again in the future." "Yes." Su Qingni responded hurriedly. She didn't wonder how Su Qingni knew what she had done that day. She was only entangled in whether the fairy would be dissatisfied if she did something wrong. Su Qingni said, "You didn't choose to go down the mountain and join the crowd immediately. This has both advantages and disadvantages, but the advantages outweigh the disadvantages. After all, you haven't practiced your skills yet, and your level of dressing up as a man is too low. It's easy for people to find out that you're a girl. Single women are easily coveted. Although there are good people in the world, there are also many bad people. If you rashly go out of the mountain and join the crowd, you may be caught by human traffickers. And you look good, and human traffickers may sell you to a brothel." Su Qingni broke out in a cold sweat, glad that she made the right choice. If she was really sold to a brothel, she would not care whether she would be punished after death, and she would definitely commit suicide. Su Qingni said, "Your skills in dressing up as a man are too poor. I will teach you how to dress up in the future, and I guarantee that others will not be able to tell that you are a woman." Su Qingni asked hurriedly, "Can't you teach me now?" "Su Qingni, now you have more to learn." Su Qingni blinked her big eyes and looked at Su Qingni, her eyes conveying her thoughts. Su Qingni didn't say what to teach her now, but only pointed out her mistakes one after another. "Why is this mountain temple abandoned? Don't you have any idea?" Su Qingni shook her head, but also took it seriously. "The mountain temple is on the mountainside, and there are houses at the foot of the mountain. There are villagers taking care of it. The temple should not be abandoned, right? You have to know that people nowadays are very reverent to the gods. As long as there is a temple, they will take care of it very carefully. How could they let the temple be abandoned?" Su Qingni looked at Su Qingni for a solution. Su Qingni told her about the tiger eating people on the mountain, and Su Qingni was frightened. Su Qingni comforted her, "It's okay, I drove the tiger away, and it will never come back to this mountain again." Su Qingni breathed a sigh of relief. Fortunately, the fairy blessed her again, otherwise she would become the tiger's midnight snack. Su Qingni listened more carefully to the mistakes Su Qingni pointed out to her, and kept them in mind, and she would never make the same mistake again. Seeing her serious look, Su Qingni smiled. "Now, I will teach you some practical skills." Su Qingni asked hurriedly, "What skills?" Su Qingni, "Collect dry firewood, build a stove, and light a fire." Su Qingni's face cracked. "What? Collect dry firewood? Build a stove? Light a fire? What kind of skills are these?" Su Qingni said, "Don't look down on these 3 skills. Without these 3 skills, you can't boil water or cook. It's almost autumn, and when autumn comes, the temperature will drop. At that time, you won't have a hot stove to keep warm or hot water to drink, and you will freeze yourself." It sounds like these 3 skills are indeed useful. But, Su Qingni blushed. In ordinary families, everyone knows these 3 things, and she is just starting to learn them now. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 55 Ancient Canon Fodder Female 5. When you collect firewood, you should pick up dry, undecayed tree trunks or branches. You should try to choose hardwood, because these hardwoods burn for a long time, have a strong fire, and produce a lot of charcoal. Don't you know what hardwood is? It is pine, birch, locust, oak and other trees. Dry bamboo can also be used, but it is best to split the bamboo before burning it to prevent the bamboo joints from exploding during burning. And animals. Su Qingni wanted to say that animal feces could also be used as fuel, but she was afraid that the little girl would not be able to accept it, so she didn't say it. Su Qingni instructed the little girl to build a stove. It was a very simple earth stove, not difficult, but the little girl had never done such rough work, and spent most of the night building the stove. After building 7 stoves, the first 6 were completely unqualified, and the 7th was barely usable. Su Qingni stopped letting the little girl build it, as long as the stove was barely usable. Then she taught the little girl how to light a fire. There was a lighter in the storage bag, and Su Qingni instructed the little girl to use the lighter, which made the little girl feel very novel. Although the little girl's hands were delicate and tender, Su Qingni still taught her how to make fire by drilling wood. If the lighter is broken in the future, won't she have to use the primitive method to light the fire? You know, there's only one lighter in the storage bag. The next day, the first ray of sunlight in the morning shone on the little girl's face, and the little girl opened her eyes. After regaining consciousness, the little girl immediately got busy, picking up firewood, building a stove, and found a usable jar and a broken bowl in the mountain temple. According to Su Qingni's instructions in the dream, the little girl held the jar, put the bowl on the mouth of the jar, and walked in one direction except the door of the mountain temple. After walking about 2 miles, she saw a mountain stream. The little girl squatted down, put the jar and bowl aside, reached her hands into the clear water, scooped up a handful of water, and immersed her face in the water. The cool water stimulated the little girl to shiver violently, but the little girl did not feel uncomfortable, but felt comfortable. It had been a long time since she had washed her face with such clear water, nor had she taken a bath. The little girl was shocked. Since she was arrested and put into prison and exiled, she had not taken a bath for more than 3 months. How dirty must she be? And the environment of the prison. The little girl shuddered. Would she have lice? Oh my God. Thinking of this, the little girl felt itchy all over her body. She didn't care about anything and jumped directly into the mountain stream. She rubbed her body hard to clean all the dirt on her body. When she changed into a clean set of clothes, the little girl breathed a sigh of relief. But then, the little girl was scared. Why did she bathe in the wild in broad daylight? What an uneducated thing. Fortunately no one passed by, otherwise how could she have the face? But, if she didn't take a bath, how could she bury it? In terms of observing etiquette and keeping herself clean, the little girl hesitated for a long time, and finally leaned towards making herself more comfortable. You are no longer a rich lady, why do you still observe etiquette? The little girl laughed sarcastically and decided to take a bath in the mountain stream at night. It was dark, so even if someone went up the mountain, they would not see it. Of course, because of the tiger in the past few years, no one went up the mountain now. She chose to take a bath at night, not to hide from other sight, but to make herself feel better. The little girl squatted down and began to wash the pot and the bowl. Although both things were damaged, they were still usable, and the pot would not leak. The pot and the bowl looked dirty, but they were actually floating dust. They were cleaned after washing twice with clean water. The little girl filled a pot of water, covered the mouth of the pot with a bowl, and returned to the mountain temple. The fire in the stove rose, and the little girl put the pot on the stove and started to boil water. When the water boiled, she poured out half a bowl of boiling water and let it dry aside. Just this little thing, most of the day passed. The little girl didn't eat breakfast and lunch, and her stomach was rumbling with hunger at this time. The little girl took out a piece of bread from the storage bag and ate it in small bites. After eating, the little girl looked at the little bread left and felt a little worried. The food in the storage bag was finished, what would she eat in the future? But thinking of the fairy in the dream, the little girl felt a little relieved. The fairy should not let her go hungry. After eating, the little girl began to practice. The fairy told her that in order to gain a foothold in this world, to save her brother and sister-in-law, and to avenge her parents and family, she must have strength. To have strength, she must practice hard. During this practice, the little girl found that her internal strength increased, a little more than yesterday. Oh, could it be that the skills can be automatically operated in sleep? The little girl thought about it, attributed it to the help of the fairy, and let it go. But her idea was not wrong. When she practiced until the moon was on the willow branches, the little girl ate half a piece of bread and drank half a bowl of hot water. She felt that her stomach was comfortable, so she lay down and tried to let herself fall asleep. She was anxious to learn skills from the fairy in her dream. Su Qingni occupied the little girl's body just like last night. She walked outside the temple, moved a stone and started digging. With the internal force she cultivated last night and the internal force cultivated by the little girl today, this body is no longer a weak chicken without any strength. The internal force is transferred to both hands. Although it cannot split mountains and rocks, it can still dig earth pits. It took half a night for Su Qingni to dig 2 big pits. She divided the bones around the temple into 2 piles, buried human bones in one pit and animal bones in another pit. After doing all this, Su Qingni returned to the mountain temple and pulled Su Qingni into the dream world. In the dream, Su Qingni began to teach Su Qingni other skills. Although they are all small things that many people can do, who told Su Qingni that she used to be a rich lady who didn't touch onion water and didn't know anything. She has a lot to learn. The next day, Su Qingni followed Su Qingni's instructions and made a broom out of branches, cleaned up the mountain temple, dug a few small pits nearby, and set a few small traps. On this day, Su Qingni still ate bread, but there was only 1 piece of bread left in the storage bag. Su Qingni decided to ask the fairy in her dream how to identify and dig wild vegetables, and eat wild vegetables to fill her stomach in the future. The bread was kept in the storage bag and would be eaten when she had to. Su Qingni made her own request, and Su Qingni would of course agree. She taught Su Qingni to recognize wild vegetables such as dandelions, shepherd's purse, and horsetail teeth. She also taught Su Qingni to distinguish edible mushrooms from poisonous mushrooms, taught her to distinguish the types of wild fruits, and let her know wild chestnuts and other mountain specialties. Chapter 56 Ancient Cannon Fodder Female 6. On the 3rd day after arriving at the mountain temple, Su Qingni spent a whole day digging wild vegetables. On this day, her meals were also wild vegetables. Boiled wild vegetables in plain water were bitter and unpalatable, but Su Qingni forced herself to swallow the wild vegetables. At night, Su Qingni learned a set of boxing from Su Qingni in her dream, and learned how to skin and clean the prey. At dawn, she was very happy to find 2 pheasants in the trap. A pheasant is used to stew soup, and even without salt, the chicken soup is delicious, and even the wild vegetables are not so difficult to swallow. In this way, Su Qingni learned various skills from Su Qingni at night and put them into practice during the day. Not only did she master life skills and survival skills, but her force value also rose rapidly. The internal force made Su Qingni no longer a weak chicken without the ability to tie a chicken. She held a wooden stick and could knock a wild boar to death with 1 stick. This wild boar allowed Su Qingni to exchange dozens of kilograms of food. Since her force value increased, Su Qingni had the courage to go down the mountain. Because of martial arts training, Su Qingni's weak temperament was swept away, and she grew taller. With a resolute face and a big wild boar with exposed fangs on her back, who would dare to attack her? Aren't you afraid of being beaten to death by this strong man who can kill wild boars? No one associated Su Qingni with a girl, and they all thought she was a man. As for her identity after being convicted, at this time, there were no photos or the internet, so who could recognize her as a prisoner? In this way, Su Qingni gradually began to contact people down the mountain. The villagers at the foot of the mountain knew that Su Qingni lived in the mountain temple on the mountainside, and they were waiting for Su Qingni to be eaten by the tiger. But after a while, they saw Su Qingni coming down the mountain again to exchange prey for food and other supplies, and the villagers were boiling. Su Qingni was not eaten, which proved that there were no tigers on the mountain, and they could go up the mountain. There are many good things on the mountain, and they can exchange mountain products for money to improve their lives. The villagers down the mountain are very grateful to Su Qingni. In their opinion, the tiger on the mountain must have been killed by Su Qingni. Su Qingni could kill a wild boar with 1 blow, so killing a tiger would only take a little effort. In their hearts, Su Qingni had become a powerful being that could not be provoked. Even those who doubted Su Qingni's identity did not dare to voice their doubts. Su Qingni glanced at the old fox village head and curled her lips. She walked up to the village head, bowed and said, "Boy Su Qin greets the village head." The village head replied, "Meet Su Zhuangxi." Zhuangxi. Su Qingni twitched her lips. Although she had changed a lot in recent days, she was still a lot worse than those tall and strong men, right? Why didn't they call her master? Village head, I am a hunter in the mountains. I have lived in the mountains for more than 10 years, so I don't have a household certificate. Now I want to live down the mountain. I want to apply for a household certificate. Please help me. Su Qingni took out a dead mink from the bamboo basket on her back and handed it to the village head. It's just a small gift, not a respect. The village head looked at the fiery red mink fur, and his heart was pounding. Such a good mink fur could be sold for thousands of taels of silver. The village head took the dead mink with a smile and assured Su Qingni, "Leave the household certificate to me. I will go to the mountain temple to find you in 3 days." "Thank you, village head." Su Qingni also smiled. She felt that it was good to deal with people like this. The fairy asked her to deal with more people, observe more and learn more, which really made sense. 3 days later, the village head brought a household certificate and the villagers' request for Su Qingni to live down the mountain. They could work together to help Su Qingni build a house. The village head said, "May the mountain god bless us all. In the past, there was a tiger on the mountain, so we couldn't go up the mountain to worship the mountain god. But now that the tiger has been killed by Su Huangshi, we want to repair the mountain god temple and worship the mountain god properly to thank him." Su Qingni nodded and said, "Okay, I'll pack up and go down the mountain. As for the house, I don't want it. I'm ignorant in the mountains, but I've always been yearning for the outside world. I want to go out and see it." The village head's eyes flashed, and he smiled and talked to Su Qingni about other things. "Old fox." Su Qingni commented in her heart. This person must have noticed something, but he didn't say it out loud. Insight into the world is knowledge, and understanding of human nature is writing. There is still a lot to learn. The next day, Su Qingni left with a big package on her back. The package contained the furs of the prey she hunted in the past 6 months. She didn't rush to sell them, but went to a larger city to sell the furs. The silver she got in exchange was 3 or 4 times more than the highest price she could get in a small county town. Su Qingyi's storage bag had 2,000 or 3,000 taels of silver notes. Originally, there were silver and gold in the storage bag, but the total amount was only 200 or 300 taels. It was impossible to settle her brother and sister-in-law and let them live a good life. With these 2,000 or 3,000 taels, there were many things that could be done. The fairy said that her brother and sister-in-law would die of illness in 2 years, but she did not say whether they died of illness at the same time or one after another. Now half a year has passed. Is it possible that one of the 2 brothers and sister-in-law has fallen ill? She had to speed up and rush to the border town. Su Qingyi came to the market that specializes in selling livestock and spent 100 taels of silver to buy a good horse. The horse looked ordinary from the outside, but according to the horse-looking knowledge taught by the fairy, this horse was a 1,000-mile horse, but it just didn't meet a good horse. And this horse was indeed as she judged. It was indeed a good horse, not particularly fast but strong endurance, and it might be exaggerated to say that it could travel 1,000 miles a day, but it was still possible to travel hundreds of miles a day. Su Qingyi traveled day and night, and after a few days, she had arrived at the border. It was not easy to find the news of the 2 brothers and sister-in-law. There were many people exiled to the border, scattered around several towns on the border. Su Qingyi went from town to town and village to find people. It took more than a month to find out the news of the 2 brothers and sister-in-law. The 3 people were divided into a remote village, which was far away from the town but very close to the neighboring country. Not only were the conditions difficult, but there were often small teams of soldiers from neighboring countries coming to collect money. The people here not only did not have enough food for a long time, but their lives were also threatened from time to time. When Su Qingyi found the village, her second sister-in-law was already sick, very sick. There were no doctors or medicines here, and the second sister-in-law could only lie on the cold ground and wait to die. The second brother stayed by the second sister-in-law's side. His eyes were numb, the kind of extreme numbness of grief, which made people want to cry when they touched his eyes. The eldest brother sat outside the thatched house, looking at the sky. His eyes were also numb. He was very thin, so thin that his cheeks were protruding. Where was the demeanor of the handsome and elegant top scholar in the capital? Su Qingyi saw this scene, tears fell from her eyes, and she called out in a trembling voice, "Big brother!" Big brother Su Qingni was shocked when he heard the familiar voice. This voice is the voice of his sister. His own sister, his sister with the same father and mother, but he was unable to protect her, so she was harmed by Su Chunru, that bitch, raped, tortured to death. The body was casually thrown outside the mountain road and became a meal for wild beasts. Big brother! Su Qingyi called out again. Big brother Su was sure that he heard it clearly. It was his sister's voice. But his sister is dead. And this voice didn't sound like an auditory hallucination. Big brother Su slowly turned his neck and looked towards the place where the voice came from, only to see a young man staring at him with tears in his eyes. Very familiar eyebrows and eyes, but this is a boy, not his sister. Brother. The voice that came out of the young man's mouth was actually a girl's. Su Qingxing's numb face showed a rare expression. Who are you? Brother, I'm Qingyi. Su Qingyi rushed up excitedly, came to Su Qingxing, knelt down, let her face be level with Su Qingxing's face, so that Su Qingxing could see her face clearly. Brother, take a closer look at me. Although I have changed a lot in the past 6 months, I am still me. Su Qingxing really looked at it carefully, the familiar eyebrows, the appearance that was 50% similar to his own, the clear big eyes. Su Qingxing suddenly stretched out his hands to hold Su Qingyi's eyes, and then looked at her carefully. You. Su Qingxing's voice began to tremble. Are you really Qingyi? You are not dead. I am not dead. Su Qingyi said with sobs. My sister was saved by a nobleman, and the nobleman took pity on her. Not only did he heal my pain, but he also taught me how to survive. When my sister had a little ability to walk outside, the nobleman sent her to find my brother and sister-in-law. Su Qingni did not let Su Qingyi tell her about her encounter with the gods, so Su Qingyi could only use the reason of meeting a nobleman to respond to other people's inquiries. God bless you, there are still many good people in the world. Brother Su was very grateful to this nobleman. The nobleman saved his sister, so he was also his benefactor, Su Qingxing. Brother, where are my second brother and second sister-in-law? Su Qingni asked. Seeing her eldest brother, she felt relieved by 1/3, but 2/3 of her heart was still hanging in her throat. They are inside. Su Qingxing sighed. You came at the right time, so you can see your second sister-in-law for the last time. What? Is the second sister-in-law going to be in trouble? Su Qingyi quickly jumped up from the ground and rushed into the dilapidated thatched house. Su Qingxing saw her movements clearly and narrowed his eyes. His sister had encountered a great opportunity. Su Qingxing slowly got up and walked into the room slowly. He saw his sister pressing 2 fingers of her right hand on the skinny wrist of his second brother's wife. Does she even know medical skills? But she has only studied for half a year. How much can she learn? But it's the basics, which is also very good. Knowing a little bit of medical skills, she doesn't have to worry about headaches in the future. Chapter 57 Ancient Canon Fodder Female 7. Brother Su was comforted by the fact that his sister knew medicine, but he did not hold out hope for Su Qingyi. Su Qingyi had only learned medicine for a short time, and his second brother's wife was about to die. However, Su Qingyi's reaction changed his mind and made him see a glimmer of hope. Su Qingyi's brows frowned, then relaxed a little, and then she retracted her right hand, took out a few silver thin plate-like objects from a small purse, and then took out a few colorful objects from the thin plates. Brother, do you have water? Pour a bowl of water over. Su Qingyi asked Su Qingxing for help. Su Qingxing saw that Su Qingyi seemed to be confident, and quickly took a ceramic bowl, scooped a bowl of water from the water tank, and handed it to Su Qingyi. Looking at this bowl of raw water, Su Qingyi sighed, but now there was no time for Brother Su to boil water, so she could only drink this bowl of raw water and swallow the medicine first. Su Qingyi reached out to feed the medicine to Su Erseo. Su Qingyi had been in a daze and had no reaction before. He was completely immersed in his own world, staring at Su Erseo without blinking. But now Su Qingyi was feeding the medicine to Su Erseo, blocking Su Qingyi's sight, and Su Erge reacted. Who are you? What are you going to do to my wife? Su Erge suddenly jumped up and rushed towards Su Qingyi. Su Qingyi blocked Su Erge with one hand and said softly, Second brother, I am Qingyi. I am feeding the medicine to the second sister-in-law. I am saving the second sister-in-law. You lied to me. Qingyi is dead, and Kuir is going to die too. Su Qingyi was as anxious and furious as a male beast who had lost his partner. He stretched out his hands and feet with all his strength, wanting to punch and kick Su Qingyi. Su Qingxing hugged his brother's waist from behind, dragged him back, and said, Second brother, that's Qingyi. It's really your sister Qingyi. She's not dead. She came back to save you. As the eldest brother, Su Qingxing has a very high prestige among his younger siblings. Even if Su Chunru had bad intentions back then, he didn't dare to provoke Su Qingxing. And Su Qingyi has been following behind his eldest brother since he was a child. He is very convinced of this eldest brother and listens to his eldest brother very much. At this time, Su Qingxing spoke, And Su Qingni listened and stopped struggling. Brother. Yes. Then is it really Sister Qingyi? His sister is a delicate little beauty. How could she be such a tough-looking boy? It's Qingyi. We have all changed so much. How could Qingyi not change? She was on the brink of death. Really, Qingyi? Mom and Dad would feel better knowing that Qingyi is not dead. Yes. The three of us are alive. This is the best news. We won't have to let Mom and Dad down when we offer sacrifices to our ancestors at the end of this year. Brother, Qingyi has changed so much? Can she really save Kuier? Let's try it out. Mrs. Du's current condition. Su Qingni said he understood. In fact, he had given up hope that Mrs. Du could survive. Now it's really like Su Qingni said, try it out. Moreover, Su Qingyi was almost dead at the beginning, but now she is alive and kicking, and Mrs. Du is still alive. Can she survive? Su Qingni stared at Su Qingyi's movements and his wife's reactions with burning eyes. Su's second sister-in-law Du Nika could no longer swallow by herself. Su Qingyi pried her mouth open, fed the pills into her mouth, and poured water into her mouth. With her other hand, she pinched the acupuncture points below Du Nika's chin so that she could swallow the medicine in water. She swallowed it. She swallowed it. Su Qingni exclaimed in surprise. Before this, Du Nika couldn't even swallow water into her throat. Now she can swallow it, which proves that she is getting better. Hope rose in Su Qingni's heart, and the numbness on his face subsided. Although he had thought that it would be better for Du Nika to die, she would not have to suffer if she died, and he would go down to accompany her soon. But if she could survive, who wouldn't want to live? Su Qingni's tears fell on the ground with a patter, and then, this man who was a head taller than Su Qingyi suddenly squatted down and hugged his knees and cried. Su Qingni sighed, waved Su Qingyi and took Su Qingyi out of the room. Let your second brother cry. No one understood Su Qingni's mood better than him. Su Qingyi nodded. She also understood, although she could not understand everything. But she knew that her two brothers and sisters-in-law had a very good relationship. They were not blindly married. The two sisters-in-law were her best friends before they got married. They also knew the two brothers since childhood. They got married because they liked each other and their families were satisfied. After getting married, the two couples were as sweet as honey. Unfortunately, the good times did not last long. The eldest sister-in-law had been married for just 1 year, and the second sister-in-law had been married for less than a month. The Su family was robbed. One of the two couples had died, and the other was facing death. Like those Hanlin birds, they lived together in pairs and become alone. Like those fish swimming in the river, they separate in the middle of the road. Su Qingyi sighed softly. The eldest sister-in-law was dead, and she had no way to bring her back to life, but the second sister-in-law was still there. She would definitely let the second sister-in-law survive so that she and the second brother could stay together until old age. Su Qingni reached out to touch his sister's head. This was what he often did at home before, but now, seeing Su Qingyi's current appearance, he felt something strange in his heart. His hand fell down and landed on Su Qingyi's shoulder and patted her. Su Qingyi reached out and took Su Qingni's right hand off his shoulder, touched his wrist with her fingers, and said, "Brother, let me check your pulse." Her brother's current appearance really made her feel distressed. Seeing that her brother's body had deteriorated a lot, if he had a little illness, he would probably fall down, just like the second sister-in-law. The second sister-in-law was actually exhausted, but her body was too weak, so she couldn't get up after falling down. Su Qingyi's tears flowed out. "Brother, you have suffered a lot these days." Brother Su comforted his sister softly. "Don't cry, I'm fine, really." Su Qingyi snorted. "Brother, I know medical skills now, you can't fool me. What is your current physical condition? I know better than you." Brother Su. It seems that his sister's medical skills are very powerful. Su Qingni. "Qingyi, is your medical skill reliable?" Su Qingyi glared. "Brother, how can you question my medical skills? Even the immortals and the nobles have affirmed my medical skills. The nobles praised me for my talent in medicine and taught me a lot of knowledge, such as the Compendium of Materia Medica, Jezi Quanlin, Ju Fang Fatu, Shanghan Bianai and other medical books, which are all unique to the nobles. I have learned these medical books and have mastered more knowledge points than others. Brother, I also learned Sinon Kanzan Yan Shao Shu, which is about healthcare. I will tell you that it will regulate the body for you and your second brother and sister-in-law." Chapter 58 Ancient Canon Fodder Female 8 Brother Su is a talented scholar who has read a lot of books, including medical books. Although he has not read many of them, he knows the names of most of the medical books in the world today. Brother Su has never heard of the names of the medical books mentioned by his sister. It seems that the nobleman who saved his sister must be a family with a deep family background. This is your blessing. Su Qingni nodded. It was her blessing that she was taken care of by the immortal and learned skills from the immortal. Now, she continues to learn skills from the immortal every night. Brother, I'm going to go outside the village. You take care of my second brother and second sister-in-law. Su Qingni looked at the environment of her eldest and second brother's homes and estimated that there must not be much food at home. She wanted to catch some wild animals to nourish her brother and sister-in-law. Is your second sister-in-law okay? Su Qingni asked. She is alive, but it will take some time for her body to recover. Su Qingni said. It's good to be alive. President Su Qingni breathed a sigh of relief and said to Su Qingni, be careful. There are often small groups of people from neighboring countries wandering around our village. If you meet them, avoid them quickly. Su Qingni did not restrain his sister from going out. Since his sister was able to successfully come to the border town to find them, she must have the ability to walk outside. Su Qingni nodded, picked up a pair of bows and arrows from the basket in the yard, put them on her back, and went out. Su Qingni stared at the bows and arrows, and his eyes narrowed slightly. Outside the village was a large grassland. Su Qingni originally wanted to catch a few wild rabbits to take back, but she was lucky and met a group of antelopes. She shot one. On the way back, Su Qingni saw the soldiers from the neighboring country from a distance. She squatted down and nestled in the grass. She waited until the small group of people passed by before she got up and returned to the village. The total number of people in that group was only 13 or 14. With Su Qingni's current skills and bows and arrows, he could kill all of them. However, killing them would bring trouble to the village, so Su Qingni chose to avoid them. When Su Qingni saw the antelope, his saliva almost flowed out. How long has it been since he last ate meat? Not to mention eating meat, he hasn't had a full meal for a long time. Brother, help me boil some water, I'll stew mutton soup for you later. Su Qingni peeled the sheepskin and cleaned the internal organs neatly, while smiling and instructing Su Qingni. Su Qingni neatly put the dry firewood into the simple earthen stove, and put a clay pot filled with water on top of the stove. The brother and sister saw each other's movements, and their eyes were all red. Such neat movements, this is a lot of hard work to practice. While feeling sorry for his brother-sister, his hands kept moving. When Su Qingni finished processing the mutton, the water in the clay pot also boiled. Su Qingni put a few pieces of sheep bones and 2 fist-sized pieces of meat into the clay pot, and looked for seasonings in the kitchen. Only a little coarse salt was found, and nothing else was found. Su Qingni had expected this situation. She bought some seasonings and even some grains on the way and put them all in a basket. She moved the basket into the kitchen, took out 2 seasonings, salt and sugar, and took out a bag of 20 kilograms of brown rice, a bag of 5 kilograms of flour, and a bag of 20 kilograms of white rice. Su Qingni originally wanted to buy all white rice instead of brown rice, but after hearing Su Qingni say that eating some coarse grains occasionally can nourish the body, she bought some brown rice. And she was right to buy this brown rice, and then the brown rice was useful. Then she took out a 1-foot diameter iron pot from the basket. The bottom of the pot was relatively deep, so it could hold a lot of things. Then there was a spatula, bowls and chopsticks, a kitchen knife, a chopping board, and even a rough little jar. Su Qingni smiled and said, "You bought everything." Su Qingni sniffed. "I thought you guys are short of everything, so I bought it. But, do you have ginger or something like that? Even if the family doesn't grow ginger themselves, they should have wild ginger, right?" "Yes." Su Qingni nodded. "We don't have a doctor here, and it takes at least a day to get to the county town. In order to prevent ourselves from getting sick, each family grows a small piece of ginger, so that we can drink ginger soup when we catch a cold to prevent cold from entering the body." Su Qingni said, "Then you dig 2, wash them and put them in the clay pot, which can remove the fishy smell of mutton." Su Qingni did it immediately. Su Qingni took out the last 2 things from the basket, the clay pot and the sea bowl she used in the mountain temple. These 2 things had different objections to her, and when she left the mountain temple, she didn't throw them away, but put them in the storage bag. Seeing that the Su family only had 1 clay pot, She transferred the two things from the storage bag to the basket and took them out openly. Su Qingni grabbed 3 handfuls of white rice, put them into the earthenware pot, and added water. Well, there was only one earthen stove at home, so she couldn't cook porridge to stew mutton soup. She hurried out to move stones and mud. Su Qingni was very surprised to see Su Qingni building the stove skillfully. You can even build a stove. Su Qingni smiled and said with a little pride, I know a lot of things now. Su Qingni said, let me help you. No need. I'm fast. Su Qingni refused. Su Qingni, brother, replace the clay pot for stewing mutton soup with a clay pot for cooking porridge, and cook the porridge first. When the stove here is built, use this stove to stew the soup. You and second brother and second sister-in-law haven't eaten meat for so long. It's not good for your stomach to eat meat all of a sudden. Eat porridge first to nourish your stomach. No need to light another stove. Brother Su said, just wait until the porridge is cooked before stewing the mutton soup. You have to. It's not convenient to have one stove. Su Qingni said, it takes a longer time to stew mutton soup so that the mutton can be stewed. After the porridge is cooked on the other stove, you have to boil hot water. It's better to drink boiled water to avoid diseases caused by raw water. Big brother Su, sister, you are so capable that I feel that your second brother and his wife and I have hope to survive. Our Su family should not be extinct. Su Qingni's nose was sour, remembering that she saw the nun look of the big brother and the second brother when she came here before. They should have lost the desire to live at that time, right? Big brother. Su Qingni choked up and said, I will definitely try my best to make you and the second brother live a good life. Silly girl. Big brother Su's voice was also a little hoarse. It is the responsibility of your second brother and me to support the family. We rely on you to help us now, but we will still have to rely on ourselves in the future. I believe in the ability of big brother and second brother. Su Qingni said. She believed in her brothers. As long as they survived this most difficult period, the two brothers would be able to live a good life slowly. Hearing you say that, I am really ashamed as a brother. It was not big brother Su who spoke, but the second brother of the Su family. Chapter 59 Ancient Canon Fodder Female 9. The second brother of the Su family walked in with a guilty look on his face. His expression was no longer numb, and there was a hint of relief and surprise between his eyebrows. Qingyi? The way you look now makes me think I have an extra brother. Su Qingyi saw that Su Qingni was joking with her, and knew that the medicine she gave Niangniang was effective. She smiled and asked, has the second sister-in-law woke up? Su Qingni shook his head, not yet, but her breathing is much smoother, and the high fever has subsided. Her life is saved. Qingyi, thank you. Su Qingyi, we are a family, what are you thanking for? Su Qingni said, I was wrong. Is there anything I can do? Su Qingni said, help to light the fire. So, the three brothers and sisters worked together in the kitchen, and their efficiency was improved. Su Qingyi built a stove, put the clay pot of mutton soup on the stove, simmered it over low heat, and went out to fetch water. After Su Qingni and Su Qingni made the white porridge, they boiled a pot of water and sorted out the things Su Qingyi brought one by one. The two men's mouths twitched when they saw their sister could fill the water tank at home with water in 2 trips. You know, the two of them had to run 7 or 8 times to fill the water tank. Compared with their sister, it feels like gender reversal. Niangniang was very open-minded, and her side was a simple thatched roof. This is the house she lives in. Is she not dead yet? Awake? If you wake up, get up and drink porridge. Niangniang heard the voice of her husband, and then she was helped up by a pair of familiar hands and led her back against the earth wall. The earth wall was cold, and her husband also gave her a thick cloak. Drink porridge. There's mutton soup stewing on the stove, and you can drink the broth tomorrow. The husband said softly in her ear. Niangniang was still a little confused, and white porridge had been fed into her mouth. The white porridge was very sticky and fragrant, and it was very delicious even without any side dishes. How long has it been since I last had such delicious food? Since the Su family was confiscated and everyone was imprisoned, she has not eaten such food again. Confiscated? Exiled? Niangniang suddenly came to her senses. Her family was exiled to the border town. She had experienced firsthand how hard life was in the border town. Even if the family was very hungry, they might not be able to afford white rice porridge. How could her family eat white rice porridge? What was going on? Was she dreaming or was she actually dead? Was this the land of the underworld, She looked at this home in the underworld carefully. The furnishings around it were no different from those in the world, but the room seemed much cleaner. She looked down and saw that the cloak she was wearing was a fur cloak. She couldn't tell what animal's fur it was, but it was very soft and thick. She was covered with an 80% new quilt, which had the smell of being exposed to the sun. Her husband was sitting in front of her, holding a bowl in his hand. The bowl was filled with white rice porridge, which looked so attractive. The numbness on her husband's face disappeared, replaced by happiness and hope, and a hint of relief, an expression she hadn't seen for a long time. The air was filled with the aroma of broth, which was so fragrant that people drooled. All this was so beautiful that it was unreal. Dunika's eyes suddenly became red. Don't cry, there will be plenty of opportunities to drink white porridge in the future. Su Qingni comforted his wife, our lives will get better in the future, and I won't let you suffer anymore. Dunika choked up and said, it turns out that life after death is better than in the world of the living. But why can we only live in such a thatched house after we die, instead of returning to our home in the capital? Is it because that place no longer belongs to us, so we can't own it in the underworld? Su Qingni, huh? After a long while, Su Qingni realized that Dunika thought she and he were both dead. Su Qingni couldn't help laughing and said, silly lady, we are not dead, we are alive and well. Alive and well. Dunika didn't believe it. I know very well what is going on in our family now. Where did this quilt, cloak, white porridge, and broth come from? I can't think of how you and your uncle could get these things. Only when you are dead can you imagine these things, right? You have read too many ghost stories. Su Qingni said, someone is coming to the house. Who? Dunika asked hurriedly. Su Qingni raised her voice, Qingyi. Qingyi? She's not dead. Then, Dunika saw a familiar young man walk into the house. Dunika was mainly tired and hungry, and the bodies of the eldest and second brother Su were also the same. Now, with Su Qingyi taking care of their bodies, the bodies of the three people gradually began to recover. Su Qingyi asked Su Qingni for permission and taught the three people a set of internal skills for health and fitness. The three people were all smart people. Even though their roots were poor, they had good comprehension and perseverance, and gradually developed a sense of ki. Su Qingyi used the silver notes on her body to bribe the person who supervised the exiled prisoners, and rearranged the three members of the Su family and arranged them to go to the town. Su Qingyi spent money to buy a yard to accommodate the Su family, and opened a medicine shop for the eldest and second brother Su to run. Brother Su had read several medical books and had some knowledge of the treatment of some minor illnesses and pains. Su Qingyi also wrote down all the medical books she learned from Su Qingni and gave them to Brother Su. Brother Su read the medical books and studied, and became a doctor in the town. The second brother was responsible for the purchase of medicinal materials. Although this medicine shop could not allow the Su family to live a rich life, it allowed them to be content with a small fortune. Brother, second brother and sister-in-law, please be patient. When I avenge my parents and help our Su family overturn the case, I will take you back to the capital. By then, our family will all live a good life. What revenge? Brother Su grasped the key words in Su Qingyi's words, and the expression on his face changed. Su Qingyi covered her mouth with a slap. It was over. She actually let it slip. Tell me, who is our family's enemy? Brother Su said coldly, his face was extremely ugly. That? Su Qingyi rolled her eyes. She didn't want to say the name of the enemy. That person's status was too high, and her two brothers were in a situation where they couldn't deal with him. She didn't want to embarrass her brothers. Qingyi, tell me what you know, don't hide it from me and my elder brother. Second brother Su said, in fact, my elder brother and I both suspect that father was framed by someone. We suspect it was father's political enemy. But father is a kind person, and he always leaves a way out for others. On the surface, there is no one who has an enemy with father, and we haven't heard father mention any political enemy. So, tell me quickly, who is our family's enemy? Chapter 60 Ancient Canon Fodder Girl 10. Tell me quickly, who is our family's enemy? Su Qingyi's eyes moved around the faces of her eldest and second brothers, and finally met the dark eyes of her eldest brother. She sighed and said, this enemy has a very high status. We have no way to deal with him now. There is no way now, but there will be a way in the future. Su Qingni said, isn't it? Su Qingyi nodded. This is what the fairy said to her, asking her to wait for a few years, and then there will be a chance. Su Qingni replaced fairy with noble person and told this to her two brothers. The two brothers were very curious about the noble person Su Qingni mentioned, but their sister insisted on not telling them any information about this person, so they could only give up asking with regret. Qingyi, who is the enemy of the Su family? Su Qingni asked again. Under the burning gazes of her two brothers, Su Qingyi uttered a name, Prince Changshuo. Why is it him? The two brothers didn't believe it. Could they have made a mistake? This Prince Changshuo was just a prince without real power. He loved romance and frequented brothels. He had nothing to do with the officials in the court. How could he frame his own father? The noble lady wouldn't be wrong. Su Qingyi said hurriedly, but she didn't tell me why Prince Changshuo framed our family. She just asked me to investigate it myself. She also said that if I couldn't find out, I would understand why in a few years. Su Qingni narrowed his eyes. Your noble lady is very extraordinary. Su Qingyi said, brother, don't doubt the noble lady. She has no ill will towards us. Su Qingni stared into his sister's eyes, and retracted his gaze after a few seconds. Let's believe that this person has no ill will towards us. Su Qingni slammed the table beside him angrily and snorted, if our enemy is really Prince Changshuo, I must make him pay with blood. Don't think he is great just because he is a prince. Su Qingni shouted in a deep voice, shut up. With our current identity and situation, how can we trip up a prince favored by the emperor? Yes. Su Qingni was dejected. Her brother was right. What if he knew the enemy? Can they fight against a prince? Su Qingyi said, leave the revenge to me. I will go to the capital after the new year. No. Su Qingni and Su Qingni said in unison, looking at Su Qingyi with disapproving eyes. Su Qingyi raised the corners of her mouth. Brother, second brother, I am no longer the Su Qingyi of the past. I have the ability to protect myself and do something. Su Qingni and Su Qingni still disagreed. Su Qingni said, Qingyi, you are our sister. Such things should not be borne by a girl like you. This is what my brother and I should bear. Second brother, I am also a member of the Su family. Why can't I bear it? Su Qingyi said, I have heard a saying that the greater the ability, the greater the responsibility. Second brother, you have seen my ability, right? With my current ability, I am enough to take the responsibility of revenge. Su Qingni. Su Qingni. The feelings are too complicated. The ability of two grown men is not as good as that of a sister. Su Qingni said, I'll go to the capital with you. No need. Su Qingyi refused, brother, your body hasn't recovered yet, and you can't stand the hardship along the way. Besides, your identity is still there, and you can't leave the border town at will. Don't worry, I'm not going to the capital to take revenge rashly this time, but to find out the news and find out why Prince Changshuo attacked our Su family. When I find out the reason, I will come back and tell you. The most important thing for the two brothers now is to take good care of their bodies, work hard to practice internal skills, and improve their strength. After a few years, when the opportunity that the noble said comes, the three of us brothers and sisters will go to take revenge together. This is also fine. Su Qingni and Su Qingni were relieved. They saw with their own eyes that their sisters' hands could crush stones, and they also personally felt the changes that the internal force brought to the body. With such a strong strength as their sister, would they not be confined to this border town and be able to avenge their parents and family with their own hands? In the end, the two brothers were still persuaded by Su Qingyi. Because Su Qingyi told them not to treat her as a sister, but as a brother. Ever since she was almost killed by a group of beasts on the road, Su Qingyi gave up her identity as a woman. Hearing this, the two brothers were very sad. Could they still use Su Qingyi's identity to stop her? Of course not. In this way, the three siblings discussed leaving the capital. When they said that, the three siblings thought of Su Chunru, the culprit who harmed Su Qingyi and another sister. The three of them hated Su Chunru. They never thought that the Su family would raise such a black-hearted and ungrateful person. Su Chunru didn't get away with it either. She was sent to the red tent. Su Qingyi told her two brothers the news she knew. Su Qingni snorted, you think you can get something good by betraying your family? You deserve it. Su Qingni said with a puff, but we can't have such a dirty person in our Su family. Su Qingni hummed, when the Su family successfully overturns the case in the future, we will cross out Su Chunru's name from the Su family tree. The two brothers of the Su family no longer paid attention to Su Chunru, but Su Qingyi always remembered the woman who harmed her. She wanted to see with her own eyes how miserable this woman's end was, so that she could vent the hatred in her heart. So, that night, after the eldest brother, the second brother and the second sister-in-law went to bed, Su Qingni slipped out in the dark. She didn't know that 3 pairs of eyes were watching her through the window, jumping up the 2 or 3 meters high wall and disappearing into the night. Qingni is really amazing, Dunika said admiringly. The second brother Su nodded, thinking to himself when he could fly over the eaves and walls like his sister. Relying on her not-so-skilled Qingguang skills, Su Qingni sneaked into the red tent very smoothly. Maybe this was an ancient red light district, and the management was not so strict, so she was easily allowed to go in and look around inside. However, she searched the red tent, but did not find any trace of Su Qingni. Su Qingni slipped into a room. The woman in the room did not receive any guests because of her menstrual period, and was lying on the bed to rest. When the woman saw Su Qingni, she thought she was some young person who came to seek pleasure, and was about to drive her away, but Su Qingni threw out a piece of silver. The woman quickly caught the silver, but her face was hesitant. She wanted the silver, and this piece of silver was more than what she had earned in the past 10 days, but her current body did not allow her to earn this money. The woman finally handed the silver forward reluctantly. Sir, I am not feeling well and cannot serve you. Chapter 61 Ancient Cannon Fodder Girl 11. Guest, I am not feeling well and cannot serve you. Su Qingni did not take the silver. Instead, she took out another ingot of silver and waved it in front of the woman's eyes. As long as you answer a few questions for me, these 2 ingots of silver will be yours. The woman swallowed her saliva and said hurriedly, Ask. Su Qingni asked, Is there a woman named Su Qingni in the red tent? Yes. Where is she? The woman said, So you are Su Qingni's guest, but you are late. Su Qingni is no longer in the red tent. Su Qingni asked hurriedly, Where did she go? The woman replied, Su Qingni is a resourceful person. A few days ago, an inspector came to the capital. Su Qingni found an opportunity to hook up with that inspector. When that inspector left 2 days ago, he took Su Qingni out of the red tent and brought her back to the capital. What a good luck. Su Qingni gritted her teeth. Originally thought that Su Qingni fell into the mud and could not get up, but she actually had the ability to climb out. Damn. Su Qingni threw the silver in her hand to the woman and left the red tent angrily. The next day, during breakfast, Su Qingni proposed to go to the capital. Su Qingni also went to the capital. Su Qingni said. The 2 brothers and sister-in-law knew how much Su Qingni hated Su Qingni, and did not stop her. The second sister-in-law hurried to help Su Qingni pack her luggage. But an hour later, Su Qingni went out on the road. When Su Qingni left, she left all the silver bills in the storage bag to her 2 brothers and sister-in-law, and only a few dozen taels of silver were left on her. She could earn more silver along the way, but her 2 brothers and sister-in-law lived in the border town, so she had to keep more silver around for self-defense. Now, her brother and sister-in-law have learned the exercises to strengthen their bodies from her, and their bodies are guaranteed, and they will not die of illness like the fairy. Thank God. Thank the fairy. Su Qingni was not slow, and rushed towards the capital. She wanted to catch up with the so-called patrol team and find Su Qingni for revenge. Little did she know that the patrol had to go to other places and did not return to the capital. She had traveled for nothing for the past 2 days. Su Qingni got the advantage. After knowing that she had lost track of Su Qingni, Su Qingni slowed down. When she encountered a big mountain along the way, she would go in to hunt 1 or 2 large prey, and then pick 1 or 2 precious herbs. After leaving the mountain, she would exchange them for silver, and the silver in her storage bag gradually increased. On this day, Su Qingni was walking out of the mountain with a big bear she had hunted, and she saw a man standing on the edge of the mountain ridge. From the movement, it seemed that he was ready to jump down the mountain. Su Qingni hurriedly dropped the big bear on her back, took a few steps forward, and grabbed the man. Brother, what is wrong with you that you want to die? Su Qingni grabbed the man and easily pulled him to a safe place against the mountain wall. It's not that the man didn't struggle, but his strength was completely incomparable to Su Qingni's. You let me go. The man's face turned red and his neck became thick. You are so disrespectful. Su Qingni let go of her hand and said innocently, I am saving you, but I don't mean to disrespect you. The man said, I don't need you to save me. Su Qingni, do you know that suicide is a crime? You will be punished in the underworld after death. You will be allowed to reincarnate after the punishment period. The man was stunned. He really didn't know. The man sighed deeply. Even if I am punished, I accept it. I just hope I can start a new life and not give up all my hopes like now. Su Qingni looked at him carefully and saw that his face was full of misery and despair in his eyes, but his clothes were still good and clean. He didn't look like he had suffered a disaster at home. It seemed that he was so shocked. Since I saved you, I will naturally not watch you commit suicide again and watch your life disappear in front of me. Where is your home? I will take you down the mountain and go home. No, I won't go home. The man was determined. Su Qingni saw at a glance that the man's plan was to wait until she left before committing suicide. Su Qingni would never allow it. She grabbed the man's arm with one hand and dragged the big bear with the other hand, heading down the mountain. The man struggled hard, but Su Qingni's hand was like an iron hoop around his arm. No matter how he struggled, he couldn't get away. He could only be dragged by Su Qingni. The man saw that he couldn't get away. When he saw Su Qingni dragging a black bear that was 3 times bigger than his own with her other hand, his pupils shrank in fear, but he dared not struggle anymore. Although he didn't struggle, the man adopted an uncooperative attitude and kept his mouth shut. No matter what Su Qingni asked him, he didn't answer. Fortunately, many people down the mountain knew this man. Su Qingni asked for the address of this man, took him to a large courtyard in the county town, knocked on the door, called out the person inside, pushed the man to the person inside, and turned and left. Su Qingni hadn't taken 2 steps dragging the big black bear when she was stopped by someone who wanted to buy the big black bear. Many people were interested in such a big black bear when it came into the city. Fearing Su Qingni's fighting power, the people who bought a black bear did not dare to bargain and gave a very fair price. Su Qingni did not care and sold a black bear directly and found an interest. After dinner, Su Qingni lay down, eager to enter the dream world to learn the knowledge to be learned today. Su Qingni has been following Su Qingni, knowing her thoughts, and did not ask her why she changed the time. She just finished what she was going to say today and let Su Qingni practice by herself. Then she imprisoned the dream world and possessed Su Qingni's body to look for extremely yin places and the true spirits of the ancestor witches nearby. However, it was destined to return in vain and without any gains. Su Qingni was neither annoyed nor anxious. She returned to the dream world and calmly kicked Su Qingni out of the dream world. Su Qingni got up from the bed. It was already very dark outside. Hearing the sound of the clapper, it should be the second watch, 9 to 11 o'clock in the evening. Su Qingni opened the window of the room and jumped out directly. According to her memory during the day, she came to the door of the man's house. The man's family was a wealthy family in the county. The family could be regarded as a family of scholars. The eldest uncle was an official in the capital, and the second uncle was the governor of a place. His father did not become an official because he had to take care of his mother in his hometown, but he was the dean of the best academy in the county. Therefore, the family was full of scholars, and even the women could read, write, and paint. The man's name was Fenboi, 20 years old this year, and he had a bad fate. He was born with 6 fingers and was disabled. He could not enter the officialdom. Even if he studied well, he could not take the imperial examination. He could only stay in the county and be a teacher in the future. He could not be the dean of the academy like his father, because he had no official title, and the other teachers in the academy would definitely not believe him. Compared with other cousins who all had official titles, everyone knew how bad Fenboi felt. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 62 Ancient Canon Fodder Girls AI. The above did not make Fenboi desperate to die. Later, one thing after another broke Fenboi and almost gave up the courage to live. Fenboi got engaged at the age of 15, but when he was 16, his fiancée died of illness. Half a year later, he arranged another marriage. As a result, the wedding date was set, and 1 month before the wedding, his second fiancée also died. After this, Fenboi had a reputation for being a wife killer. It was said that he was born with 6 fingers, which was an ominous sign. Although the Feng family was a scholar and believed that a gentleman should not talk about strange things, they still took these gossips to heart and inevitably had a grudge against Fenboi. The relationship between Feng Boi and his brothers and sisters-in-law was no longer as close as before. Fortunately, the third fiancé was successfully married, and the rumors of being a wife killer stopped. However, Feng Boi's wife did not live for a year, and she died in childbirth. This time, on the basis of being a wife killer, there were rumors that Feng Boi was a son killer. It was extremely difficult for Feng Boi to remarry. But we can't let him die alone like a star of destiny, with no one to see him off to the end of his life, right? In the end, the Feng family spent a lot of money to hire a daughter of a scholar in the countryside to be Feng Boi's second wife. Because the scholar's family was short of money, they were willing to sell their daughter to the Feng family. However, the scholar's second daughter, Feng Boi's second wife, was unwilling to do so. She already had a lover and was forced to marry Feng Boi. And the lover of the second wife couldn't forget the second wife. After marriage, the second wife secretly had an affair with her lover without Feng Boi's knowledge. A year later, the second wife gave birth to a healthy and strong girl. Feng Boi was very happy. He would be desperate in the future, but now that he had a daughter, how could he not be happy? Feng Boi loved this daughter like a treasure, but he didn't know that this child was not his daughter. It was not until half a month ago when the second wife met his lover again that Feng Boi discovered the clues and eavesdropped on their conversation. He knew that he was cuckolded and his daughter was not his. Feng Boi vomited blood immediately, and the servants were so scared that they started to yell, and the second wife and her lover were also exposed. The lover wanted to take the second wife away, but the second wife was afraid that she would hinder her lover and let her lover run away. She also knew that she would never survive in the modern world where chastity is valued, so she chose to commit suicide. This person was also cruel. He thought that his daughter was not a child of the Feng family, and the Feng family would not want her. His own family would not want a daughter who was like a stain. As for the lover's family, I am afraid they would not want this child either, so he strangled his daughter to death and then hanged himself. Feng Boi vomited blood again after hearing the news. It stands to reason that Feng Boi would not want to die because of the death of a woman who betrayed him and a child who is not his daughter, but people's words are like knives. After sympathizing with Feng Boi, everyone changed their tone. It is said that Feng Boi was born with 6 fingers and had a bad fate. He deserved to be a living cuckold, and the daughter he gave birth to was someone else's. It was said that Feng Boi was unlucky in marriage and children, so he should not remarry, thus separating a pair of lovers. Su Qingni guessed that such rumors should have been spread by the relatives and friends of the second wife. There were also many rumors that were unfavorable to Feng Boi, so no matter how strong Feng Boi's psychological endurance was, he could not bear it and collapsed. So, there was the suicide scene that Su Qingni encountered today. The above was what Su Qingni came up with based on the rumors in the county, the information provided by the waiter of the inn, and secretly eavesdropping on the Feng family's bedtime conversations. After hearing this, she couldn't help but mutter, is this Feng Boi really destined to be a star of misfortune? Should she stop him from committing suicide? As he said, if he could start over in the next life, he would be willing to be punished by suicide. The fate of a star of misfortune is indeed very bad. No. Su Qingni's voice sounded in her mind. Ah! Su Qingni cried out in surprise. She quickly used her qinggong to leave the Feng family compound and came to a corner of the wall, then whispered, Fairy, fairy, are you there? Don't shout. Su Qingni said, I won't show up in the mortal world. I was just bored and sent out a ray of consciousness to see what you were doing. I didn't expect to meet such a poor man. Su Qingni was a little disappointed that she couldn't see Su Qingni, but when she heard Su Qingni mention Feng Boi, she immediately turned her mind back and nodded, this man is really pitiful. Not to mention that he is unlucky in marriage, he married a wife and was cuckolded. It's just, or the thinking of the widower. In their hearts, chastity and reputation are more important than life. Can the fairy help people change their fate? Su Qingni asked. Su Qingni said, do you really believe that Feng Boi is destined to be unlucky? Su Qingni, he was born with 6 fingers. Su Qingni, 6 fingers are just a developmental deformity, and have nothing to do with fate. Su Qingni, but Feng Boi's 2 fiancés and 2 wives died, and his son and daughter are gone. Su Qingni, it's just a coincidence. If he is really destined to be unlucky, why doesn't he bring misfortune to his father, mother, brothers, nephews and nieces? Anyway, looking at the man's face, I can't tell that he is destined to be unlucky. His marriage line has ups and downs. The main thing is that this person is not suitable for early marriage. He should get married late, so that his future marriage will last long, and he will have sons and daughters. Su Qingni, in this way, I can rest assured to stop this man from committing suicide. Su Qingni hummed, go quickly, that man is about to hang himself. Su Qingni immediately jumped up, stepped on the eaves and ran to the outside of Feng Boi's room, and heard a thump from inside. It should be Feng Boi kicking the stool. Because of the rumor of the star of misfortune, the servants of Feng's house dared not get too close to Feng Boi. The servants in his yard who had connections had already been transferred out of the yard through connections. More than half of the servants in the yard were gone, and the remaining servants were deliberately sent away by Feng Boi. No one heard the movement in Feng Boi's room. If Su Qingni hadn't come, Feng Boi would probably be found the next day. By then, he would have been dead. Su Qingni hurried into the room and took the man off the cloth strip and put him on the bed. Feng Boi had just stretched his neck into the cloth strip cover, and he was not unconscious. Seeing Su Qingni, he couldn't help but shout in a hoarse voice, "Why are you here again?" Su Qingni snorted and said, "Since I saved you once, I can't watch you die again. Didn't I tell you? Suicide will be punished in the underworld." Feng Boi said, "I also said that I would rather be punished and start over." Su Qingni said, "Are you because of the so-called star of misfortune?" Exclamation mark. "I have asked an expert for you. This is not true. You are not doomed. The deaths of your fiancé and wife were coincidences and accidents." Chapter 63 Ancient Canon Fodder Girl 13. I was born with 6 fingers, and it's unknown when I was born. Nonsense. Su Qingni said, "Your mother's development was poor." Feng Boi didn't quite understand what Su Qingni said. He thought that Su Qingni made it up because she didn't want to die, so he didn't listen to it. He didn't want to say more to this nosy person, so he just said, "My brave man, I only know that you have good intentions, but some things have nothing to do with you as an outsider. Can you stop me once or twice, and can you stay by my side to stop me? You are just a passerby, and you will leave sooner or later. This is indeed a problem." Su Qingyi is worried that if she leaves this county, Feng Boi will try to commit suicide again, and then no one will stop him. Su Qingyi stared at Feng Boi, and her eyes made Feng Boi panic. Feng Boi took a step back and asked in a timid tone, "What are you going to do?" Su Qingyi said, "I have decided to keep you by my side and keep an eye on you. When you don't want to die anymore, I will let you go." "You are dreaming." Feng Boi laughed angrily, "I won't go with you." Su Qingyi, "It's not up to you." Feng Boi suddenly stood up and wanted to get out of bed and escape. Su Qingyi stretched out a finger and pressed Feng Boi's acupuncture points. Feng Boi didn't move. Feng Boi was horrified. "What kind of magic is this?" "It's not magic, it's acupuncture," Su Qingyi explained, and then she started to search in Feng Boi's room. She opened a wooden box, which was used to store clothes. Su Qingyi took out 3 or 4 sets of clothes from it, wrapped them with a piece of cloth, and put them on Feng Boi's back. She found a locked small box in Feng Boi's room. The iron lock was like nothing to Su Qingyi. With a light pinch, the lock was opened. The box was opened, and inside were 2 land deeds and a house deed, as well as 300 Liang silver notes, 250 Liang silver notes, and some small change, totaling 568 Liang. The land deeds, house deeds, silver notes, and small change were packed in 3 bags, stuffed into Feng Boi's clothes on his chest, and asked, "Has your family split up?" Feng Boi closed his eyes and ignored Su Qingyi. Su Qingyi snorted and laughed, "Even if you don't answer, I can guess. Your family must be afraid of your fate and split up with you." Feng Boi still closed his eyes and didn't speak. Su Qingyi didn't care about Feng Boi's attitude at all, stretched out her right hand to grab Feng Boi's shoulder and lifted him up. Feng Boi was startled and was about to open his mouth to shout. Su Qingyi quickly pressed Feng Boi's mute point, and smiled triumphantly in his incredible eyes. Su Qingyi brought Feng Boi back to the inn. She jumped into the inn room through the window in the moonlight. No one saw her kidnapping a grown man, who was also a very famous man in this county. Early the next morning, Su Qingyi bought a carriage, stuffed Feng Boi into the carriage when no one was paying attention, and drove the carriage out of the county. After the carriage had gone 20 or 30 miles, Su Qingyi untied Feng Boi's acupuncture points and stuffed a steamed bun into Feng Boi's hand. "Eat it. Don't think about fasting or anything. If you don't eat it, I can stuff it directly into your mouth." Feng Boi took the bun silently and ate it silently. He accepted his fate. He couldn't beat the man in front of him, nor could he escape from the palm of his hand. He couldn't die even if he wanted to. What else could he do? He could only be obedient. Did this man say it? As long as he gave up the idea of seeking death, he would let him go. Then I will temporarily suppress the idea of suicide and behave better, so that this person will think that I have really let it go and don't want to commit suicide. Of course, this has to be done step by step. If the change is too obvious at the beginning, this person will definitely not believe it. With this idea in mind, Feng Boi also accepted his current situation calmly. He ate and drank as he should, but he didn't talk and almost ignored Su Qingni. Su Qingni thought to herself, "Don't think I don't know what you are thinking. I will let you go only if you really give up suicide. If it's fake, I won't let you go. I will stare at you to death." What do you think the Feng family will react when they find out you are missing? Su Qingni stabbed the knife into Feng Boi's heart. This man's heart is full of scars, and it is possible that there is pus inside. To heal these wounds, he must give him another stab to squeeze out all the pus inside, so that there is hope for the wound to heal. Feng Boi stared at Su Qingni coldly without saying a word. Su Qingni smiled and said, "Why don't we stop for a while and ask them for news when we meet someone coming out of the county town? Don't you want to know if the Feng family is worried about you and looking for you everywhere?" "No need to ask." Feng Boi sighed. "My sister-in-law and my sister-in-law hate me to death. My brother and brother don't want me to die, but they don't want me to stay at home anymore. They will have people look for me on the surface, but they don't really want to find me. Only my father and mother may really look for me, but they still have my brother and brother, as well as grandchildren. Together, they are much more important than me. In a few days, they will give up the search and completely forget about me." Su Qingni, is this also the main reason why you want to commit suicide? Feng Boi stared into her eyes. "My parents, brothers and relatives have all abandoned me. Is there any need for me to live?" Su Qingni, of course not. Not only do you have to live, but you have to live well. After 10 years, go home and let them see that you are alive and they are alive too. You are not a curse on them, and you are not destined to be alone. Let the facts speak for themselves. Feng Boi laughed and said sarcastically, "Little brother, no one will think that they are wrong. They will only say that I left the Feng family and did not go home for 10 years, so they are safe. Therefore, I should not go home, and should have been wandering outside." Su Qingyi touched her nose. "Indeed, this statement can barely be established. Then you can marry another wife and have a son, and the rumors will be broken by themselves." Su Qingyi said. Feng Boi shook his head. He didn't want to get married again in this life. Seeing him like this, Su Qingyi thought of his second wife, and her mouth twitched. Poor kid, has he lost faith in marriage? However, if this person does not get married and have children, and does not break the rumor that he is a lonely star in his fate, his mentality will not change, and he will not give up the idea of seeking death. It's troublesome. Do I really have to tie this person to my side and keep tying him up? Su Qingyi was overwhelmed. She felt that she had caused herself a big trouble and regretted caring about Feng Boi's affairs. But her regret was dispelled in an instant. She couldn't bear to watch a living person commit suicide in front of her. Chapter 64 Ancient Cannon Fodder Girl 14. Which hand do you have 6 fingers on? Su Qingyi suddenly asked. Lift it up so I can see. She had always heard that Feng Boi was born with 6 fingers, but she had never seen it with her own eyes. Feng Boi silently raised his right hand, and saw that there was an extra finger on his little finger, which was an inch below the nail cap. It was not forked at the palm as Su Qingyi imagined, and there were 6 neat fingers. This extra part was like an extra burden, but it did not affect the movement of the right hand. It is said that Feng Boi is also good at calligraphy and painting. Su Qingyi stared at the extra finger, and then looked at the overall shape of Feng Boi's right hand, thinking that if there was no small section of finger, this hand would look no different from other people's hands. Thinking of this, an idea came to Su Qingyi's mind. What do you want to do? Feng Boi noticed that Su Qingyi's eyes were not right, and asked cautiously, and retracted his right hand. When his hand was halfway retracted, Su Qingyi grabbed his wrist. What are you doing? Feng Boi asked. Su Qingyi smiled and said, I'll do an operation for you. Huh? Feng Boi didn't know what an operation was. He only saw a dagger in Su Qingyi's right hand. But as soon as the dagger flashed white, Feng Boi felt a sharp pain in his right hand. Feng Boi looked over hurriedly and saw that the extra finger on his right hand had fallen on the mat on the carriage board, staining a piece of the mat red, and his right hand was also covered with the blood. You. Feng Boi was angry and in pain, and couldn't speak. Su Qingni put down the dagger, took out the golden wound medicine, applied the medicine to Feng Boi to stop the bleeding, and tore off a thin piece of cloth from a middle coat to bandage Feng Boi's wound. After doing all this, Su Qingni said to Feng Boi to take credit. Look, now you don't have 6 fingers anymore. When the wound heals, others will only see a scar on your little finger and won't be able to imagine that you used to have 6 fingers. Feng Boi stared blankly at his right hand. Although the 5 fingers were wrapped in white cloth, they were perfect. His eyes suddenly became red. He didn't cry when he was labeled as a wife killer. He didn't cry when his first wife died with a baby in her belly. He didn't cry when his second wife cheated on him. He didn't cry when he was labeled as a son killer and a lonely star. When his family gave him up, he didn't cry even though he wanted to die desperately. In fact, he was a very determined person, otherwise he wouldn't have endured for 20 years. But now, he cried. Su Qingni did not persuade him not to cry. She got off the carriage and found a thicker branch. She cut a small section with a dagger and made a small wooden box. She picked up the small finger with a white silk handkerchief, wrapped it with the silk handkerchief and put it in the wooden box. She pushed the wooden box in front of Feng Boi. A memorial. Feng Boi stretched out his left hand and tightly grasped the wooden box, carefully putting it into his inner pocket. Su Qingni walked out of the carriage, raised the whip, and drove the carriage forward slowly. The speed was very slow, not much faster than other people's trot. Therefore, more than half an hour had passed, and the carriage had not even traveled 5 miles. The curtain of the carriage was lifted. Feng Boi came out, sat next to Su Qingni, and whispered, "Thank you." Su Qingni smiled. "Have you thought it through? Don't want to commit suicide?" Feng Boi said softly. Su Qingni pulled the reins to stop the carriage, then turned to Feng Boi and said, "Since you don't want to die, I don't have to keep watching you. You are free. Get off the carriage. It's less than 30 miles from here to the county town, and you can return to the city before dark." Feng Boi shook his head. "I have already left the Feng family and the county town, and I am not going back. Little brother, let me follow you." Su Qingni shook her head. "No, I don't want anyone to follow me. You are a scholar, not the same kind of person as me. If you follow me, you will only hold me back." Feng Boi said, "Little brother, I think I have some ability to judge people. Although you can hunt bears and your skills are as unpredictable as ghosts and gods, and you look very much like a knight in a storybook, your conversation and some small habits that you occasionally reveal show that you should also be a well-educated person, and your family background should be very good. When we met, you came from the north. And only in the border town in the north can there be people like you, right? There are many descendants of the rich who have fallen into trouble and suffered there. You came from the border town, so you should be going to the capital, right? There are 2 purposes for going there. One is to overturn the case for your family, and the other is to avenge your family, right?" Su Qingni nodded. "Yes. You are very smart, observant, and have a good vision and judgment. I heard that you have good literary talent. If you take the imperial examination and enter the officialdom, your achievements will definitely be greater than those of your cousins. It is possible that your 2 uncles cannot compare to you. You don't have 6 fingers now, and the scars on your hands are not a disability. Why are you following me? You should go back and prepare for the imperial examination." Feng Boi said, "I don't want to take the imperial examination for the time being, and I don't want to go home. I have no place to go and no friends. You are my benefactor. I want to be your friend and want to follow you temporarily." Su Qingni. The other person's eyes were so sincere that he was really embarrassed to say that he didn't regard him as a friend. Feng Boi said again, "I won't be a burden to you, really, I can help you plan. Whether you want to overturn the case or want revenge, I can help you and give you some ideas. One person's plan is short, 2 people's plan is long." Su Qingni stared at Feng Boi for a long time, and Feng Boi's eyes met hers, frankly. Su Qingni said, "My name is Su Qingni." Su Qingni didn't completely believe Feng Boi, and only told Feng Boi her name. Feng Boi didn't mind Su Qingni's distrust. If Su Qingni was the kind of naive person who completely believed in him and accepted him right from the start, he would definitely not follow Su Qingni. As a result, the next day, Su Qingni completely trusted him and told Fengboi about her family. Fengboi was surprised. "You trust me now?" Su Qingni smiled mysteriously. "Someone told me that you are trustworthy." "Who?" Fengboi asked hurriedly, thinking that someone from the Feng family came to find him. Su Qingni chuckled. "I won't tell you." Fengboi. Although she trusted Fengboi, Su Qingni was secretly observing Fengboi all the way in Shanghai. Fengboi also noticed it, but he didn't say anything and just did what he had to do. When they were about to reach the capital, Su Qingni sighed. The fairy's words are indeed the most correct. Chapter 65 Ancient Cannon Fodder Girl 15. Fengboi didn't know who the fairy Su Qingni was talking about, but along the way, he and Su Qingni had become very close. Except for his identity as a woman and Su Qingni's affairs, Fengboi told him everything about the Su family, and also said that his family's enemy was Prince Chengshuo. Prince Chengshuo? Could it be the wrong name? Although Fengboi was not on the capital, someone from the Feng family was an official in the capital, and they were familiar with the information about the capital. Fengboi had also heard about Prince Chengshuo's deeds. "No." Su Qingyi said firmly. "How could the fairy be wrong? Although I don't know why, it was he who harmed our family. This time I came to the capital to investigate Prince Chengshuo and why he framed my father." Fengboi thought and said, "If it was really Prince Chengshuo who framed your father, then I'm afraid that the dandyism that this prince has always shown is just a disguise. Who knows, this master may have a lot of power in his hands." Su Qingyi nodded in agreement, and her eldest and second brothers also analyzed it this way. Fengboi continued, "This prince was the most beloved youngest son of the late emperor, and the late emperor had thought of letting him ascend to the throne. Now he can only be a dandy prince without real power. How can this master be willing? I'm afraid." Su Qingyi understood. "Did my father discover something, so Prince Chengshuo took the initiative?" Fengboi said, "It is also possible that Prince Chengshuo wanted to win over your father, but your father refused." The two guessed several reasons, but Su Qingyi had to investigate what it was for. The two came to the capital and rented a small courtyard first, and then they used their own ways to find out the news in the capital. Su Qingyi has lived in the capital for more than 10 years, but she has always lived in the inner house. She is familiar with the ladies, and these ladies know only the inner house women know the news, and they are not clear about the outside world. Su Qingyi can't get news from them. Of course, with her current identity and dress, she can't get in touch with those ladies. She just secretly visited her best friend who used to play well. This visit gave her some shocks, and she recognized those who really treated her as a friend, and those who were sweet on the outside but evil on the inside, and were just pretending to be friends. After this distinction, there were only two friends that she cared about. Among them, Yu Yiliu was 2 years older than Su Qingyi, and now she was married. Zhan Nianxi was 1 year younger than Su Qingyi, and she was still unmarried, but when Su Qingyi secretly looked at her, she found that the girl had spring in her eyes, and she must have a lover. Yu Yiliu's life after getting married was not easy. She looked glamorous on the surface, but Su Qingyi wanted to appear in front of Yu Yiliu directly and let Yu Yiliu divorce her husband. However, Su Qingyi clearly understood that Yu Yiliu was different from herself, and it was impossible for her to choose to divorce, and she could only rely on men for the rest of her life, so she suppressed the idea of jumping out to meet Yu Yiliu, and only helped Yu Yiliu secretly. Yu Yiliu's husband doesn't like his wife. He likes his cousin who grew up with him. However, the cousin's family background is not worthy of Yu Yiliu's husband's family, so she can't be Yu Yiliu's husband's wife. Less than a month after Yu Yiliu's husband married Yu Yiliu, she became a concubine. This cousin is also a sweet-faced but evil-hearted person. She behaves very well on the surface and is extremely respectful to Yiliu, but secretly puts a lot of obstacles in Yu Yiliu's way. She also pretends to be embarrassed by Yu Yiliu in front of Yu Yiliu's husband, which makes Yu Yiliu's husband very dissatisfied with Yiliu. The little respect he originally had for his wife also dissipated, and the relationship between him and his wife can be described as cold. The cousin is still not satisfied. She wants the position of the wife and the power in the mansion. She used money to bribe many servants in the mansion and set a very vicious trap, trying to frame Yu Yiliu for having an affair with someone, and designed to let Yu Yiliu's husband see it with his own eyes. In this way, Yu Yiliu will definitely not survive, and the cousin can be legitimately promoted by Yu Yiliu's husband. However, the cousin was unlucky. When she was planning, She happened to meet Su Qingni, who came to see her old friend. After knowing that her cousin had harmed Yu Yiliu, she secretly stirred it up. As a result, Yu Yiliu's husband found that her cousin was disheveled and in bed with another man. Men can't stand being cuckolded the most, no matter whether the woman is forced or not. Even if he likes his cousin very much, he feels very uncomfortable when he sees his cousin with other men. What's more, it was not only him who saw that scene that day, but also his friends and guests. So many men saw his cousin's body. The cousin viciously let many men see Yu Yiliu's body, and completely let Yu Yiliu fall into the abyss, but he didn't know that in the end it was himself who was pitted. Then, Yu Yiliu's husband investigated the whole story. He suspected that it was Yu Yiliu's method to get rid of his cousin. In his eyes, Yu Yiliu is a vicious woman. What's the result? The facts were investigated and it was clear that everything was arranged by the cousin herself. She wanted to frame Yu Yiliu, but she didn't know that there was a problem in the process. She didn't harm Yu Yiliu, but she got herself into trouble. What is this called? Harming others will eventually harm yourself? Yu Yiliu's husband saw the true face of his cousin and felt guilty about Yiliu. The relationship between the two people improved after this incident. Su Qingni was very disdainful of Yiliu's husband and felt that this man was not worthy of her friend at all, but in this world, Yu Yiliu looks very happy now. Su Qingni was glad that she jumped out of the circle of noble ladies. Su Qingni returned to the rented yard and saw Feng Boi sitting at the stone table in the yard playing chess with himself, looking quite leisurely. Su Qingni walked forward, sat opposite Feng Boi, lowered her head to look at the chess game for a while, stretched out her hand, picked up a white piece, and put it on the chessboard. Feng Boi picked up the black piece and put it next to the white piece. The two of them went back and forth, and the chessboard was full of swords and shadows, and the battle was very fierce. After more than an hour, Su Qingni dropped the chess piece and admitted defeat, a lost. Feng Boi smiled and put down the black piece in his hand, saying, "Your chess skills are getting stronger and stronger, and it's getting harder and harder for me to beat you. No matter how strong I am, I can't be stronger than you." Su Qingni said, "The twists and turns in your mind are so many that even 10 people combined can't match you. Are you praising me or insulting me?" Su Qingni, "Of course I'm praising you. Your plans and calculations are comparable to those of Guo Jia and Jia Su." Feng Boi, "Haha, thank you. If you praise me for being like Guo Jia, I can be happy. Why added Jia Su? Why haven't you ever thought of being a poison scholar? By the way, I participated in a literary gathering today and got a poem that will be passed down through the ages." Chapter 66 Ancient Canon Fodder Girl 16. I attended the literary gathering today and got a poem that will be passed down through the ages. You praised it as a poem that will be passed down through the ages, so I think this poem is very special. Su Qingni was also very interested in poetry and couldn't help looking at Feng Boi with anticipation. Feng Boi smiled and took out a piece of rice paper folded into the size of a palm from his arms and handed it to Su Qingni. Su Qingni hurriedly opened the rice paper and saw that the words on the paper were vigorous and powerful, with strong bones and penetrating, and very good handwriting. It was Feng Boi's handwriting. Look at the content again. The great river flows east, the waves wash away all the heroes of the ages. To the west of the old fortress, people say it is the red cliff of Zhoulang in the Three Kingdoms. The rocks pierce the sky, the waves beat the shore, and thousands of piles of snow are rolled up. The mountains and rivers are like a painting, and there are so many heroes at the moment. Su Qingni couldn't help but pat her knees and cheer loudly. Good. 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 The atmosphere is magnificent, the style is vigorous, the singing reaches the clouds, the realm is grand, unprecedented. Feng Boi nodded repeatedly, only a poem like this can be sung for thousands of years. The two people kept cheering, and Su Qingni was stunned. Shit. Isn't this Su Dada's Niangniang Red Cliff nostalgia? Is there a time traveler other than her in this world? The history of this world took a turn after the Anchi Rebellion. There are no 5 dynasties, no Song, Yuan, Ming and Qing dynasties, only a David dynasty that has been passed down for more than 100 years. Converted, the current era of this world is still the 5 dynasties and 10 kingdoms in the history of the earth. The Song dynasty has not yet appeared, and Su Shi has no birth, so it is impossible to write Niangniang Red Cliff nostalgia. Therefore, now that Niangniang Red Cliff nostalgia has appeared, it can only be the credit of the time traveler. After Su Qingni praised, she asked, Which great scholar wrote this poem? Can you take me to meet this great scholar? Feng Boi's face suddenly became strange, and he said, it's not a great scholar, but a girl of your age. Impossible. Su Qingni denied it as soon as she opened her mouth. How can a young girl write such a magnificent poem? And look at the last sentence of the poem. I am wandering in my hometown, and the sentimental people should laugh at me for having gray hair at an early age. With gray hair, how could she be a young girl? Feng Boi said, but it was indeed written by a young girl. I saw it with my own eyes. At the literary gathering, someone made things difficult for the girl, asking her to write a poem on the spot and limiting the topic. As a result, the girl wrote this poem after thinking for only a cup of tea, and won a lot of applause. It's a good poem, but I don't believe it was written by a young girl. Su Qingni felt that a young girl couldn't write such a poem, so she was not a girl, and a young man couldn't write it either. It must be written by someone with a certain amount of life experience. Is this poem written by the girl's elder, and the girl used it? This guess is very reasonable. Feng Boi said, other people have such a guess, otherwise no one would make things difficult for the girl this time. Even before this, many people doubted the girl and made things difficult for her to find out her background. However, the girl was able to write popular poems every time, and each poem was a classic, without anyone noticing that she had someone write for her. Over time, everyone recognized the girl's talent and believed that she was gifted and not like an ordinary person, so she could write so many classic poems. Is that so? Su Qingni chose to believe half of it, and waited until the evening to ask the fairy for confirmation of the remaining half. Anyway, she didn't believe this so-called talented woman from the bottom of her heart. Her intuition made her feel that this person was very inconsistent. Hearing what you said, I really want to meet this girl. Su Qingni said. Feng Boi said, this girl is surrounded by many talented and noble men. It is difficult for you and me to see her true face, and it is even more difficult to say a word. What? Su Qingni was surprised. She finally found out what was wrong. When Feng Boi told her about the woman before, she always felt that something was wrong. Now she knows what is wrong. How could a girl from a wealthy family go to a literary gathering that only men attend? Which family is this girl from? Su Qingni asked. Feng Boi smiled, only you would ask this. That girl is not a courtesan. Her status is quite high. She is the daughter of the Minister of Rights, Lord Kang. The daughter of Lord Kang's family. Su Qingni had the impression of the young lady of the Kang family in her memory. There are two people of the same age as her, one is Lord Kang's legitimate daughter, and the other is Lord Kang's concubine. One of these two is a proper young lady in the mansion with a high status, and the other is the daughter of Lord Kang's favorite concubine, who is the most favored by Lord Kang. The two of them were competing with each other in the mansion, neither of them was willing to give in. Su Qingni knew these two people, but she didn't have much contact with them. However, she knew that they were mediocre in talent and had no talent for poetry. Which young lady from Lord Kang's family? Lord Kang's illegitimate young lady. Su Qingni frowned. When I lived in the capital, I heard my sisters mention the eldest young lady of the Kang family. This young lady's poetry talent can only be regarded as mediocre. Feng Boi said, it is said that Miss Kang is a low-key person. Although she is talented, she doesn't want to displease her stepmother and embarrass her biological aunt in the mansion, so she always pretends to be mediocre. But even though she kept shouting about the stepmother and stepmother still couldn't tolerate her. They pushed her into the pond in the coldest days of winter. Miss Kang didn't drown, but she almost died of a cold. After a serious illness, Miss Kang thought it through and didn't want to endure it anymore, so she showed her talent, which won the praise of many people and was liked by Lord Kang. Miss Kang's status in the mansion was greatly improved, and the stepmother no longer dared to bully Miss Kang. That's not right. Su Qingni shook her head. My sister once mentioned the two young ladies of the Kang family. The mother of this young lady is the favorite concubine of Lord Kang. She is treated no worse than the legitimate daughter in the mansion. Her legitimate mother and legitimate sister can't bully her at all. And my sister said that Miss Kang is spoiled and doesn't seem like someone who can endure. Feng Boi, do you still suspect that those poems were written by someone else, and that Miss Kang stole someone else's poems? Su Qingni shook her head. So many people in the capital have not found out whose poems Miss Kang stole. Maybe it was really Miss Kang who did it. She suspected that Miss Kang had a strange encounter like herself, met a fairy in a dream, and learned extraordinary skills. Is she considering whether to contact this Miss Kang? She wants to test what skills this Miss Kang has learned. In addition to poetry, has she learned martial arts? Chapter 67 Ancient Canon Fodder Girl 17. By the way, Feng Boi said again, Prince Cheng Shuo is also a suitor of Miss Kang, and he is a very successful suitor, and he has a special relationship with Miss Kang. Su Qingni's eyes immediately became sharp. Prince Cheng Shuo actually has a special relationship with Miss Kang, so what if Miss Kang helps Prince Cheng Shuo? She didn't know what skills Miss Kang had learned, and she didn't know if she could beat Miss Kang, so she felt very uneasy. Su Qingni immediately stood up and said to Feng Boi, I'm a little tired after going out today, so I'll go into the house to rest first. You can do as you please. Feng Boi waved his hand. Su Qingni returned to the house and immediately lay down on the bed, chanting fairy, fairy in her heart, forcing herself to fall asleep. Su Qingni knew that Su Qingni was anxious to see her, so she pulled her into the dream world as she wished. When she saw Su Qingni immediately told her about Miss Kang, and then asked Su Qingni, Fairy, did Kang Yurao have a chance in the dream like me? Su Qingni shook her head, it's different. Kang Yurao did have a chance, but the chance didn't belong to the original Miss Kang, but to the current Kang Yurao. Su Qingni said, the current Kang Yurao is not the previous Kang Yurao. Su Qingni was confused for a while, and then figured it out, resurrection. Su Qingni nodded, the foreign soul should be from the time before, with hundreds of years more memory than people now, and no more knowledge that people now don't know. Su Qingni understood again, so those poems were written by later generations, and Kang Yurao used them and said they were written by her. Su Qingni nodded again. Su Qingni quickly asked, does she know martial arts? Su Qingni, no. In this world, only you and your family know internal strength. Su Qingni breathed a sigh of relief. This is what she is most worried about. If Kang Yurao also knows martial arts and Qingguang, it will be very troublesome for her to go against Prince Cheng Shuo. Su Qingni understood what she was thinking and comforted her, don't worry, this woman may become your helper someday. What Prince Cheng Shuo is pursuing Miss Kang? Exclamation mark. Haha, it's strange that Prince Cheng Shuo would really love a woman. When Kang Yurao knows that Prince Cheng Shuo's pursuit of her is not sincere, she will most likely turn against Prince Cheng Shuo. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. However, it is better not to make friends with this friend. With the character of this time traveler, making friends will cause too much trouble. Su Qingni was relieved after getting Su Qingni's assurance. The next day, she went to the literary meeting with Feng Boi. Although the fairy asked her not to get too close to Kang Yurao, she was still very interested in such a resurrected existence. It should be okay to observe Kang Yurao from the side without getting close to her. Feng Boi saw that Su Qingni was curious about Kang Yurao, and he was not confused at all. After all, many people were curious about Kang Yurao, including himself. However, Feng Boi kindly reminded Su Qingni, it's best not to get too close to Miss Kang. I found that she seemed to have a strange ability. Anyone who is close to her would be confused by it and lose themselves. The only two exceptions are Prince Cheng Shuo and Lord Liu Wanghao. Liu Wanghao. Su Qingni's heart skipped a beat when she heard this name. This man was the youngest champion in the David dynasty, another dream lover in the hearts of the noble ladies in the capital, and Su Qingni's first love. Thinking of the memories of when she was with Liu Wanghao, it seemed like a dream. Such a beautiful man, she could never be with him again. She was already dirty and unworthy of a man who was as noble and beautiful as a lotus. A trace of sadness flashed across Su Qingni's face, which was noticed by Feng Boi. What's going on between you and Liu Wanghao? Feng Boi asked. No. After blurting out the words, Su Qingni realized that she sounded a bit feminine, and hurried to make amends. It's just that I was young and ignorant before, and I was a little jealous of that person. You are also very young now. Feng Boi looked at Su Qingni's face that was several years younger than his, and felt that he was really old. Liu Wanghao is outstandingly talented and a good person, but a little cold. Feng Boi met Liu Wanghao once, but never talked to anyone. He is very good. Su Qingni heard others praise Liu Wanghao, and she felt proud but sour at the same time. Her mood was very complicated. She simply changed the subject. From your reaction, it seems that you are not confused by Kang Yurao. This ability to confuse people should be a special ability of ghosts, right? Why not ask the fairy for 2 amulets, one for yourself and one for Feng Boi? Maybe I am far away from Miss Kang. Feng Boi said. But he couldn't be sure. You have to know that the other people around him, like him, were not close to Kang Yurao, but they were still bewitched by Kang Yurao's so-called charm, but they were not bewitched to the point of forgetting everything else like those men who were with Kang Yurao at close range. Kang Yurao did not show up at the literary gathering this time. Both of them were a little disappointed, and even more disappointed than them were the men who were looking forward to the appearance of Miss Kang. Without Miss Kang, everyone lost the mood to write poems, and the literary gathering ended early. In the evening, Su Qingni asked Su Qingni for a talisman. Su Qingni shook her head and said she didn't have one. Can the talisman resist the aura of the time traveler? Maybe it's the aura of the heroine? Su Qingni was not sure, and she didn't have such a talisman. As long as a person is determined, he will not be bewitched by Kang Yurao. Su Qingni said, you and Feng Boi are both determined people. That's good. Su Qingyi was relieved. Half a month later, the eldest princess held a chrysanthemum appreciation meeting in a garden outside the city. All the talented men and beautiful women in the capital were invited to participate in the chrysanthemum appreciation meeting. This chrysanthemum appreciation meeting is a disguised blind date meeting. Young girls and boys will not be too restrained in the chrysanthemum appreciation meeting. They have the opportunity to find the opposite sex they like and chat and play together. The elders will smile tolerantly when they see them, unlike in the past when they accused them of not following the rules. That year, Su Qingyi met Li Yuanhao at the chrysanthemum appreciation meeting and talked with him for a long time. I don't know what Li Yuanhao thinks, but I think I had a good chat at that time, and since then I have kept Li Yuanhao in my heart. But it's a pity that fate is a trick. I originally asked my father to ask the Liu family for advice and wanted to form a marriage with the Liu family. As a result, my father was arrested and imprisoned, and my family was ruined overnight. The marriage just went to the famous stage, and it ended without any disease. Chapter 68 Ancient Canon Fodder Girl 18. Su Qingyi got an invitation to the chrysanthemum appreciation meeting, and Feng Boi also got one. Su Qingyi admired Feng Boi's ability. He had been in the capital for less than a month, but he had met a lot of people, from the sons of high-ranking officials to the poor scholars. Moreover, he did not use the Feng family's connections in the capital, but relied on his own talents and abilities to break into the circle of nobles. Su Qingyi couldn't help but feel sorry for Feng Boi. If he hadn't been delayed by Liazi, he would have come to the capital to show his skills a long time ago, right? The two entered the garden in a low-key manner, and Feng Boi quickly found the organization. Although this chrysanthemum appreciation meeting was prepared for noble sons and daughters, some very talented poor students would also be invited to participate. Because some families are very optimistic about these students, they will want to recruit these talented students into their own homes, and then they can marry a concubine. The poor students knew the adults' plan, and they didn't mind it at all. Even if they were concubines, they were concubines from high-ranking families, much better than the girls from ordinary small families. Marrying her as a wife would be a great help to them. Feng Boi did not reveal his identity as a nephew of the Feng family, so in the eyes of everyone, he was also a poor student. He brought Su Qingyi to join the poor students and introduced Su Qingyi to them. Su Qingyi had learned music, chess, calligraphy and painting. When she was at home, she liked to read books. She had read the 4 books and 5 classics, and asked her 2 brothers for advice. She had some talent in writing poems, and could talk to the students. It didn't take long for her to be accepted by the students. Is Miss Kang not here yet? A student looked forward to it. It could be seen that this person came specifically to see Kang Yurao. His friend patted him on the shoulder and advised, Miss Kang is not what we can think of. Although she is a concubine's daughter, there are many noblemen who like her. She will not choose us. How is it impossible? Student A said, Miss Kang is approachable and has no prejudice. As long as she likes, she doesn't care whether the husband's family is poor or aristocratic. His friend Student B said, but Lord Kang cares. Lord Kang will not let his carefully raised daughter marry into a poor family. Student C said, if the children of poor families are better than those of aristocratic families, Lord Kang will be willing, right? Student D chuckled sarcastically, do you think you are so good that Lord Kang will marry his daughter to you? Don't dream. You are indeed good, but can you be better than Lord Li Yuanhao? All the students. They can compare. Not only Li Yuanhao, but also several other noblemen. They come from a scholarly family with a rich collection of books at home. Naturally, They have more knowledge and are better than them. The students sigh deeply. Origin is really important. Since you have suffered from your origin, you must not let your children suffer from it in the future. You must let them have a better starting point. Therefore, you should pull your eyes back, seek truth from facts, and don't dream that you can't get it. Instead, choose a concubine's daughter who is beneficial to you and you can marry it yourself. The atmosphere here was depressed, but a happy shout came from the other side. Miss Kang is here. The students immediately raised their heads and looked in the direction of the gate. Looking at their reactions, knowing it in your heart is one thing, but being attracted unconsciously is another. At the gate, several noblemen surrounded a woman and walked in from outside. The woman attracted everyone's attention as if she could glow, but Su Qingni's eyes only stayed on her for a while, and then moved to the two men beside her. Of these two men, one made Su Qingni like, and the other made Su Qingni want to kill that man immediately. Prince Cheng Shuo. Su Qingni said hatefully. Her hatred for Prince Cheng Shuo made her easily ignore the person she liked before. Her eyes were fixed on Prince Cheng Shuo. Prince Cheng Shuo was very sensitive. He noticed this unfriendly gaze and immediately turned his head to look in the direction of the gaze. Su Qingni was startled and lowered her head quickly. Prince Cheng Shuo did not notice the owner of the gaze, but there were many people in the capital who did not like him. He thought the owner of the gaze was someone who was jealous of him, so he did not take it too seriously. Now all his thoughts were on the woman next to him and the man on the other side of her. Seeing the woman and the man laughing intimately, Prince Cheng Shuo's eyes were full of haze. Su Qingni's sleeve was pulled by Feng Boi, and Feng Boi reminded her softly, "Don't let anyone notice your loss of composure." Su Qingni took a few deep breaths and said to Feng Boi, "Don't worry, I know the limits." She didn't intend to kill Prince Cheng Shuo when she came to Beijing this time. She came to investigate the reason. Prince Cheng Shuo would be left to her eldest and second brothers. As the current head of the Su family, they wanted to take revenge in person. "I'll go somewhere else." Su Qingni wanted to go somewhere else to calm down. Yet, Feng Boi responded and didn't leave with him. He was quite interested in Kang Yurao. This interest was different from that of other men. Feng Boi wanted to see what kind of good poems Kang Yurao could write. Su Qingni walked along the way and didn't meet anyone. Everyone was attracted by the three focal figures of Kang Yurao, Li Yuanhao and Prince Cheng Shuo. The men paid attention to Kang Yurao, and the women paid attention to Li Yuanhao and Prince Cheng Shuo. Su Qingni walked along the way and admired the chrysanthemums placed on both sides. These chrysanthemums are not rare species, and the colors are only yellow and white. They are similar, so it is not surprising to see them more often. Su Qingni has been to this garden before. She remembered that there was a bamboo building on the water in the southeast corner of the garden. It was cool in the summer and many people would like to go there, but now it is September and the temperature has dropped. Most people don't want to go to such a damp and cold place. Now it is a quiet place. Thinking of this, Su Qingni walked towards the bamboo building. Sure enough, there was no one here. She went straight in and went up to the second floor. Pushing open the half window, Su Qingni sat by the window. The view was unobstructed and she could see the scenery on three sides of the water side, but because of the window blocking, other people could not see that there was anyone in the bamboo building. A small boat passed on the water. It should be the servant who managed this area of water. Their conversation was faintly transmitted into the bamboo building, and Su Qingni received some information. It seemed that someone gave them silver and sent them to stay in the reed marsh behind the bamboo building and not to hang out. Su Qingni understood who was being plotted against, so she sent the servant who came to rescue people away. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 69 Ancient Cannon Fodder Girl 19. The servants rowing the boat were all women. If a woman fell into the water and was rescued by them, it would not have much impact on the reputation of the woman who fell into the water. But if these servants were sent away, who would save the woman who fell into the water? Of course, it was impossible for other girls who were also noble ladies to go into the water to save people. Of course, it was a man who went into the water to save people. This person was soaked and held by a man. Would that mean she had no reputation? This kind of thing is not uncommon. There are too many people who frame people they don't like to fall into the water to ruin their reputation, or who want to marry a noble woman by ruining her reputation. Although this trick is good, it is very effective. Every few years, it happens in the capital. Su Qingni is no stranger to this trick. It seems that this is another unlucky guy who has offended someone and been framed. Su Qingni didn't think about intervening. This kind of thing has nothing to do with her. Just watch the show. But when she saw that the person who fell into the water was Zhan Nianxi, one of her good friends, Su Qingni stood up all of a sudden. The person who was framed was her good friend, so she couldn't ignore it. But she did not act rashly. Her sharp eyes patrolled the crowd. She saw a woman shrink back and hide among other women. She saw a man take off his coat with excitement and prepare to jump into the water. She recognized the man. This man was the son of an official under her father. The official was only a 5th-rank official, while Zhan Nianxi's father was a 3rd-rank official. The man had a bad reputation. Prince Cheng Shuo was romantic, but this man was vulgar. No one was willing to marry their daughter to this man. Is this taking advantage of the fire? Su Qingyi's eyes sank, and she took out a silver ingot from the storage bag and hit the man with a hidden weapon, hitting the acupuncture point on one of the man's legs. Because the distance was too far, the force disappeared a lot. The silver only made the man's leg numb and fell to the ground unable to move. If it was according to the force when Su Qingyi threw it out, the man's leg would definitely not be saved. Su Qingyi left the bamboo building, went into the water on the side of the bamboo building where no one could see, and dived to Zhan Nianxi's side. With her inner strength, she could stay in the water for a long time without breathing, and she was always moving underwater, without letting anyone notice that there was an extra person in the water. Coming to Zhan Nianxi's side, Su Qingyi moved her inner strength to her right hand, pressed her palm on Zhan Nianxi's back, and slapped the person out of the water with a clever force. Everyone saw a column of water suddenly rising from the lake, pushing the person who fell into the water up, and pushing the person who fell into the water up and throwing him towards the shore. Everyone thought that the person who fell into the water would hit the shore hard, vomiting blood and getting injured, but when the person who fell into the water fell, it seemed as if he was supported by something, and he landed gently without any shock. For a while, everyone who saw this scene was silent. After a while, someone reacted. The owner of the garden ordered the maid to come forward to help Zhan Nianxi get up, send him to the wing room to change clothes for treatment, and ask the imperial doctor to help him treat him. Other people discussed this matter and guessed what the reason was for sending Zhan Nianxi, who fell into the water, to the shore. Most people think that there is a kind water god in the water who saved a drowning person. Others say that Zhan Nianxi once saved a carp, and the carp became a spirit to repay the favor. The story is as if the people who said it had seen it with their own eyes, and it was said brilliantly. No matter how many theories there are, they can't get around the person involved, Zhan Nianxi. Zhan Nianxi actually surpassed Kang Yurao and became the hottest figure in the capital this year. Many people regretted not going to the Zhan family to propose marriage earlier, so that Zhan Nianxi had been betrothed to someone else, and they had no chance. Su Qingyi began to investigate the mastermind of Zhan Nianxi's fall into the water after that day. Zhan Nianxi is a friend she recognizes. How can she be bullied? Of course, the owner of the garden, the eldest princess, and the Zhan family investigated the incident, but due to various concerns, they only investigated one link and did not investigate further, and did not track down the real mastermind. Su Qingyi secretly followed a woman who shrank into the crowd that day and found that she was an admirer of Zhan Nianxi's fiancé. Although Zhan Nianxi's fiancé is not as famous as Liu Yuanhao and Prince Cheng Shuo, he is also a young and promising nobleman with no shortage of admirers. This woman admires Zhan Nianxi's fiancé Qi Wenyu, because Zhan Nianxi is Qi Wenyu's fiancé and she is jealous and hates Zhan Nianxi. But she doesn't know that Qi Wenyu doesn't like his fiancé, and he admires Kang Yurao, the goddess in the eyes of all men in Beijing. Qi Wenyu thinks that it is because he has an engagement that the goddess is cold to him, so he hates the engagement and his fiancée Zhan Nianxi very much. He wants to cancel the engagement, but he can't hurt his reputation and make Kang Yurao unhappy, so he aims his calculations at Zhan Nianxi. He knows that the woman admires him, but he only shows his dislike for Zhan Nianxi and helplessness in marriage in front of him. This woman has become a part of his plan, or the most important part, pushing Zhan Nianxi into the water. Qi Wenyu turned a few more corners to find the son of the 5th-rank official, and asked him to wait by the water to save people, so that he could get a rich lady as his wife for free. Qi Wenyu arranged it very well. He had imagined the beautiful picture of pursuing Kang Yurao without scruples after canceling the engagement, but God slapped him in the face. There was a water god in the water, who actually saved Zhang Niangxi. Nowadays, people in the capital say that Zhang Niangxi is blessed by the gods and is a blessed person. The wives of the head of the family all want to have such a daughter-in-law. His mother was so happy that she urged the Zhang family to hold the wedding as soon as possible, wanting to marry Zhang Niangxi. This was a blow to Qi Wenyu. If he really married Zhang Niangxi, he would have no chance to pursue Kang Yurao. But he couldn't think of any way to destroy this marriage. Just when Qi Wenyu was fighting a trapped beast, the Zhang family took the initiative to cancel the marriage. The Zhang family took the evidence that Qi Wenyu plotted against Zhang Niangxi and went to the head of the Qi family, asking for a divorce. The evidence was naturally provided by Su Qingni, and after collecting the evidence, it was placed in the study of the head of the Zhang family. The head of the Zhang family did not believe it at first and expressed doubts, but after investigating it himself according to what was written above, he found it to be true, and was furious. He immediately discussed with the whole family and decided to divorce. The Zhang family unanimously agreed to the divorce. Their sister had not even married Qi Wenyu yet, but she was being plotted against. She almost lost her reputation. If she married into the Qi family, she would not know how she would be tortured by Qi Wenyu. Divorce. Must divorce. My little sister is blessed by the gods, and the market is good. If she divorces the Qi family, she can find a better family. Chapter 70 Ancient Canon Fodder Girl 20. Of course, the Qi family was unwilling to break off the engagement, but the Zhang family threw out a series of evidence, and the Qi family had to agree to break off the engagement. After the Zhang family left, the head of the Qi family used the family law on Qi Wenyu, and beat this guy so hard that he couldn't get up for half a year, let alone pursue the goddess in his mind. After Zhang Niangxi knew about the incident, she had no expectations for marriage and even had some resistance, and didn't want to get married for a while. The Zhang family sympathized with her, so they didn't talk about her marriage for the time being. They only said to the outside world that Zhang Niangxi was grateful for the blessing of the gods and wanted to serve the gods for 2 years, and then discussed the marriage after 2 years. Outsiders didn't know Qi Wenyu's calculations, but they thought that the Qi family and the Zhang family broke off the engagement because Zhang Niangxi wanted to serve the gods, and the Qi family couldn't wait to break off the engagement, and they all expressed understanding. The head of the Qi family breathed a sigh of relief. Fortunately, the truth didn't spread out, otherwise if others knew that Qi Wenyu calculated his fiancée, who would be willing to marry their daughter into the Qi family? Don't think he doesn't know what his boy is thinking. Kang Yurao never liked him before. It would be strange if Kang Yurao would like him except for the Zhang family's affairs. After this incident, Su Qingni, who had hidden her merits and fame, no longer paid attention to Zhang Niangxi, and her mind turned to Prince Changshuo. Prince Changshuo was not easy to approach, and Kang Yurao was not easy to approach either. Su Qingni had to sneak into the palace at night and secretly monitor Prince Changshuo. However, Prince Changshuo has been circling around Kang Yurao every day these days, and Su Qingni couldn't get any useful information. That day, Su Qingni returned to the yard and found Feng Boi playing chess with himself in the yard again. She walked over and took over the other half of the chessboard. Feng Boi made a move and said, "Prince Changshuo has a rebellious heart." Yet, Su Qingni responded, she also thought of it. Feng Boi continued, "Within 2 years, the capital will change drastically." Su Qingni paused holding the chess piece and looked at Feng Boi, "So fast?" Feng Boi said, "I'm afraid that half of the military power in the capital has already fallen into the hands of this prince." Su Qingni asked, "How do you know?" Even though she had been with Prince Changshuo for a long time, she didn't know. Feng Boi only went to attend some literary and poetry gatherings, so how did he know? Feng Boi said, "I went to the brothel several times with some people and saw many military officers there." Su Qingni. Feng Boi, Zhang's brothel is not simple. I suspect it was the work of Prince Changshuo. Su Qingni thought of how Prince Changshuo had been lingering in brothels in the capital before pursuing Kang Yurao, and this was the brothel where he stayed the longest. She somewhat recognized Feng Boi's guess. At night, Su Qingni pretended to be a guest and entered the brothel. This time, she did not gain anything from the investigation. The brothel was no different from other brothels. Su Qingni even met the owner of the brothel, who had nothing to do with Prince Changshuo. However, Su Qingni would not give up. She believed in Feng Boi's judgment, and her intuition also told her that there was really something wrong with this brothel. The second time Su Qingni came to the brothel, she did not leave. She hid in the brothel and monitored the people in the brothel at any time. Finally, she found a secret passage in the brothel. Through the secret passage, she would come to a house 300 meters away from the brothel. There was another secret passage in that house, and through that secret passage, she would come to a garden. This garden was one of Prince Cheng Shuo's industries. There were many secrets in the garden, and it was one of Prince Cheng Shuo's most important spaces. Su Qingni found a lot of evidence that Prince Cheng Shuo was going to rebel, and brought the evidence back. It turns out that Prince Cheng Shuo used this method of catching people to control the army. Feng Boi was quite disdainful of this. It's not the right way. It works temporarily, but it will cause great trouble in the future. Su Qingni didn't care about the troubles of the right way. What she wanted now was to bring the evidence to the emperor and use the emperor's hands to deal with Prince Cheng Shuo. But she couldn't let her elder brother and second brother take revenge by themselves. It would be a bit unfair to them. The evidence was handed to the emperor through the hands of the eldest princess. In the middle of the night, Su Qingni was learning skills in the dream world. Suddenly, Su Qingni kicked her out of the dream world. The weather outside has changed, why don't you go and see it? What changed? Su Qingni was puzzled. Before she opened her eyes, noisy sounds came into her ears. Footsteps, shouts, screams came from afar, and the sound became louder and louder, as if the killing had come nearby. Su Qingni suddenly opened her eyes, jumped out of the bed, opened the door and ran into the yard. Feng Boi also got up and came to the yard one step later than her. The two stood in the yard and saw flames rising from the direction of the palace, lighting up the center of the imperial city as bright as day. Feng Boi's face turned pale. Prince Cheng Shuo is desperate and hastily forced the emperor to abdicate. It seems that Prince Cheng Shuo's power is stronger than we imagined. The outcome of this forced abdication is unpredictable. Su Qingyi's face was also very ugly. If Prince Cheng Shuo wins, if he wins, how can we overturn the verdict? How can we take revenge? Feng Boi understood her mood and sighed lightly. He felt that Su Qingyi was really miserable. She wanted to take revenge, and saw that this road was feasible, but God did not help, but instead pushed the enemy to go further. If Prince Cheng Shuo really succeeded in ascending to the throne, Feng Boi thought, he should light a row of candles for Su Qingyi. Su Qingyi suddenly walked towards the door, and Feng Boi hurriedly grabbed her. Don't go out, it's useless even if you go out now. Even if you find Prince Cheng Shuo, you won't have the chance to kill him. Su Qingyi turned her face and stared at Feng Boi with red eyes. Feng Boi stared at her. After a long while, Su Qingyi lowered her head dejectedly, and Feng Boi also let go of his hand that was holding Su Qingyi's arm. Su Qingyi sighed, and said helplessly and sadly, let it be up to fate. After that, she returned to her room. She lay down on the bed and soon entered the dream world. In the dream, Su Qingyi was not in the mood to do any practice or study. She just sat in the flowers and stared at the flowers in a daze. Su Qingni walked to Su Qingyi's side and stood quietly. Su Qingyi spoke, Fairy, did Prince Cheng Shuo succeed in ascending to the throne? Su Qingni said him. Su Qingyi asked again, then do I still have the chance to take revenge? Su Qingni said him again. But he will be the emperor after he takes the throne. Su Qingyi said, how can he help our Su family to overturn the case after he becomes the emperor? Su Qingni said indifferently, Prince Cheng Shuo can successfully take the throne, but he may not be able to sit firmly on the throne. Su Qingyi was shocked, and her eyes burst into spirit. You mean? Su Qingni patted her shoulder, don't be too anxious to take revenge. Chapter 71 Ancient Cannon Fodder Girl 21. With Su Qingni's words, Su Qingyi's anxiety was extinguished. Now is not the time to kill Prince Cheng Shuo, so it is better to sit aside and watch the show, watching Prince Cheng Shuo perform for him like an actor. The next day, Su Qingyi appeared in front of Feng Boi calmly, which surprised Feng Boi. Su Qingyi said calmly, I'm going out for breakfast, are you going? Yes. Feng Boi smiled. There were very few people on the street. The breakfast shops that were originally open rain or shine were not open, and every household closed the door tightly, and no one dared to go out. There were almost no people like Su Qingyi and Feng Boi who were strolling leisurely on the street. In the end, the two found a large inn and went in to order a breakfast. The inn dared to open the door. Naturally there was a backer. Needless to say, the backer was most likely Prince Changshuo. And such an inn dared to open the door, which means it has the confidence, and the result of forcing the palace is naturally needless to say. What are you going to do in the future? Do you still want to stay in the capital? Feng Boi finished eating his own fire and asked Su Qingni. Su Qingni shook her head. I can't take revenge for the time being, and it's useless to stay in the capital. What about you? Do you want to stay in the capital? Feng Boi said, I will stay in the capital for a while. Su Qingni asked, do you want to take the imperial examination? After Prince Changshuo came to power, he would definitely hold an imperial examination to appease the people's hearts. This is a smooth means for the superior. Feng Boi shook his head. Prince Changshuo is not a good master. I don't want to work under this man anymore. Su Qingyi said, I thought you were going to enter the court. I thought if you surrendered to Prince Changshuo and told my story, should I kill you or poison you? Although there was a joke in his tone, Feng Boi knew that this was probably true. If he really surrendered to Prince Changshuo and betrayed Su Qingyi, this man might really kill him or poison him. This man is very impatient. If he says it, he will definitely do it. But Feng Boi is not afraid, because he has no intention of betraying Su Qingyi or entering the court. Prince Changshuo is not a wise leader. Although he is patient and good at planning, which are admirable, his methods are too sinister, which shows his character. If such a person becomes the emperor, the ministers will definitely have a hard time, so he doesn't want to be abused. Feng Boi then smiled and said, I don't think highly of that person. Su Qingyi understood and smiled. After breakfast, the two ordered another pot of tea and drank it slowly. Before they finished half of the pot, the shopkeeper asked the shop assistant to take out a long string of firecrackers and set them off. He also smiled and said to the guests in the hall, today the boss is happy, all expenses are free. The guests were happy and all smiled and congratulated the shopkeeper. Someone asked what the boss's happy event was, and the shopkeeper smiled and said, great joy, great joy. But the shopkeeper didn't say a word about what the big joy was. Feng Boi and Su Qingyi looked at each other, stood up, and left the inn. Su Qingyi did not leave immediately. Although the capital looked calm, the city gates were still closed for 3 days. 3 days later, the 4 city gates were opened and Su Qingyi was the first to leave the city. She walked very slowly along the way, and the news in the capital was constantly reaching her ears. Prince Changshuo succeeded in becoming the emperor, and the title of emperor was his title. Emperor Changshuo killed all the people, not only killing his brother the emperor, but also his nephews, and even the harem and princesses of the previous emperor. The family of the eldest princess, who informed the previous emperor, did not escape the fate of destruction. The eldest princess saw her husband and children die in front of her eyes, and committed suicide with hatred. Before committing suicide, the eldest princess used her soul to curse Emperor Changshuo, cursing him to die a bad death and not be able to sit on the throne. Emperor Changshuo was very angry because of this curse, and hated the eldest princess deeply, so he had her bones crushed and ashes scattered. This was the most cruel punishment for the ancients. After Emperor Changshuo ascended the throne, he married Kang Yurao as his empress. The Kang family rose in power, and Lord Kang became a national hero, being flattered every day. He was too proud. Kang Yurao's biological mother was promoted by Lord Kang to be his second wife, and she controlled the housekeeping power of the Kang family's backyard. Only Kang Yurao's stepmother and stepsister lived a very uncomfortable life. The stepsister was a little better. Although she had a bad relationship with Kang Yurao, she was Kang Yurao's sister after all. She married a powerful family outside the capital by virtue of the relationship between the Kang family and Kang Yurao. She lived a pretty good life. At least her husband's family respected Kang's sister very much because of the power of the Kang family and the presence of Kang Yurao as the empress. Only Kang Yurao's stepmother, because she was angry and worried that Kang Yurao would retaliate against her stepmother, was full of depression and fear. Not long after, she exhausted herself to death. Li Yuanhao was originally the best friend of Emperor Changshuo. At this time, he also rose to prominence. He jumped from the 6th rank Hanlin Academy lecturer to the 1st rank cabinet minister, which made many people jealous. Many people were dissatisfied with Li Yuanhao's entry into the cabinet and stood above everyone else. They impeached Li Yuanhao and believed that he was unworthy of the position. But everyone who dared to impeach Li Yuanhao was dealt with by Emperor Changshuo. The lightest punishment was to deprive the official position and demote him to a commoner. The heaviest punishment was not only to take the person's head, but also not to let the person's family go, and the whole family was exiled to the border. Su Qingni met these exiled people on the way. When she saw them, she remembered the exile of the Su family. People feel sorry for each other. Su Qingni secretly took care of these people, and those officers who wanted to take action against the female family members were all severely taught a lesson by Su Qingni. The officers were taught a lesson, but they did not find out who taught them a lesson. They were all frightened and thought that these exiles were blessed by gods, just like the young lady of the Zan family. So they did not dare to humiliate any women, and did not dare to whip men at will, nor did they dare to withhold their food. The treatment of the exiles improved a lot for a while, and they arrived at the border smoothly. At this time, Su Qingni also returned to the Su family at the border. Su Qingni told her eldest brother Su and second brother Su and second sister-in-law Du Ningke what she saw and heard in the capital. The three of them sighed and felt the same sympathy for their own kind. Su Qingni said, "Which families did the exiles come from?" Su Qingni told the three of them the surnames of these families and the official positions of the heads of the families. The three of them also knew some of these people and knew which ones had good character and which ones were better not to associate with. Su Qingni told Su Qingni the names of the people who were worth associating with, and said, "Help these people if you can." Su Qingni focused on one name, Yu Xianlin. This girl was once my eldest brother's admirer. Chapter 72 Ancient Canon Fodder Girl 22. It's been a year since my eldest sister-in-law died. Su Qingni said. Su Qingni's face darkened, and he stood up and wanted to leave. Su Qingni hurriedly said, "I know that my eldest brother can't forget my eldest sister-in-law, and I can't forget it either. But my eldest brother is still young, and it's impossible for him to stay with my eldest sister-in-law for his whole life. Besides, there are 3 unfilial acts, and the worst is not having a son. Big brother, you are the head of the Su family." Su Qingni paused and walked out of the house. Su Qingni sighed and said to Su Qingni, "Qingyi, don't worry, I will persuade my eldest brother more." Su Qingyi nodded. She believed that Su Qingni could figure it out. Although Su Qingni had a good relationship with his eldest sister-in-law, as the head of the Su family, he understood his responsibilities, and carrying on the family line was one of them, and Su Qingni would not shirk it. Su Qingyi said sorry to her eldest sister-in-law in her heart. "My eldest brother is still young, and there are still many days to come. We can't let him walk alone, right?" Seeing how the second sister-in-law cared for the second brother, Su Qingyi hoped that the eldest brother would also have someone who understood his feelings by his side to take care of him and care about him. Su Qingyi thought that Yu Xianlin was a good choice. Although her relationship with Yu Xianlin was not as good as that with her 2 sisters-in-law, she had also had contact with Yu Xianlin and knew that this person had a good character. The most important thing was that Yu Xianlin really loved her eldest brother. When her eldest brother and eldest sister-in-law got engaged, Yu Xianlin was sad for a long time. Su Qingyi had a good impression of Yu Xianlin and wanted to match Yu Xianlin with her eldest brother. However, before taking action, she had to see how her eldest brother decided. If her eldest brother had not forgotten her eldest sister-in-law, then she would not take action first and wait for a while. Living at home, it felt like the days passed quickly. 2 months passed in a blink of an eye, and Su Qingyi saw her eldest brother carrying a package out of the house. Su Qingyi looked at the sky. It was already very late and it was getting dark. Where was her eldest brother going? Su Qingyi had an idea and did not call Su Qingni, but followed him out of the door. Su Qingni walked out of the city and came to a small river. At the riverside, he used a small stone to draw an irregular circle on the semi-wet land. The circle did not close, leaving a gap. Su Qingni opened the package, and Su Qingyi saw the contents, which turned out to be incense, candles, and paper money. Su Qingni inserted the lit incense into the ground at the gap, then took out the paper money, burned it one by one, and placed it in the circle. Su Qingyi bit her lower lip. She knew who her eldest brother was burning paper for again. There was only 1 incense, candles, and paper money, so it was not for her parents, but for her eldest sister-in-law. Now was not her eldest sister-in-law's birthday or death anniversary, nor was it Qingming Festival or Zhangguan Festival. It was not a festival, but her eldest brother was burning paper for Su Qingyi. I guess her eldest brother had figured it out. Su Qingyi silently waited for her eldest brother to finish burning the paper, and waited for her eldest brother to leave. She walked to the pile of paper that still had a little spark, knelt down, and kowtowed 3 times. "Sister-in-law, don't worry. My brother and I will never forget you. Every year during the Qingming festival, I will burn paper for you. Live a good life in the underworld. If you have the opportunity to reincarnate again, don't miss it. Don't wait for your brother anymore. Go and reincarnate quickly. Maybe in the next life, you and your brother will have a chance to meet again." A gust of wind blew over, blowing the black paper ash up to half a person's height, as if responding to Su Qingni's words. Su Qingni smiled. "Thank you, sister-in-law." The next day, Su Qingni went to the residence of Yu Xianlin's family. Because of the so-called divine blessing incident on the road, this group of exiled people were not arranged to a bitter and cold place, but all stayed in the county town. The woman had jewelry on her body, so they mortgaged the jewelry for money and barely rented a house in the county town to settle down. Yu Xianlin's family was pretty good, 2 brick houses, 2 thatched houses and a yard, where the family lived crowded together. The Yu family has a good family tradition. Not only Yu Xianlin, but also her brother, 2 younger brothers and a younger sister, all have similar personalities. Yu Xianlin's father passed away, but her mother is still alive. Her mother is a sensible person who manages the family in an orderly manner. She often tells her children that her family is no longer an official family and has no money. If they want to survive, they must work hard and live a good life. She took her 2 daughters to do embroidery to earn money, and asked her 3 sons to find work in the shop. Everyone in the family is busy and works hard. The silver money earned in a month is enough for the family to live. At least they will not be like other exiled families who don't know how to live and have a hard time. When Su Qingni arrived outside the Yu family was holding a wedding. The eldest brother of the Yu family got married. The bride was a local girl in the county, the daughter of the owner of a bookstore. She had read some books, was hardworking, and did things quickly. The eldest brother of the Yu family often went to the bookstore to find a job copying books, and was favored by this girl. The mother of the Yu family was very satisfied with this girl. It was not easy for them to marry a girl from a good family in their current situation. Otherwise, they could only marry girls from other exiled families. But these girls were all delicate and incompetent, and they could not help much if they were married back home. Now this daughter-in-law is good, hard-working, and well-educated. At least she has something in common with her son. Her son was lucky to marry such a daughter-in-law. In short, both families were very satisfied, and the marriage was soon put on the agenda. The eldest brother of the Yu family married a wife only 2 months after arriving in the border town, which made other exiled families envious and jealous. Su Qingni took a gold ingot as a gift, entered the gate of the Yu family, and found a table in the yard to sit down. There were not many people coming to celebrate. In addition to the relatives of the bride, there were only 2 exiled families who had shared hardships with the Yu family. Because there were few people, Su Qingni's unfamiliar face was revealed. "Excuse me, who are you?" Yu Xianlin walked to Su Qingni and asked. There were no male and female rooms like in the capital at the border, so even Yu Xianlin and her sister had to come out to greet the guests. When she saw Su Qingni, she couldn't remember who this person was, but she felt that this person seemed familiar. "My surname is Su, and I was also exiled to the border town. I saw that there was a happy event in your family, so I wanted to come in and share the joy." Su Qingni replied with a smile. "The surname is Su? Also exiled to the border town?" Yu Xianlin's heart moved, and then it beat faster and faster. She thought of a person who was exiled to the border town more than a year ago. Do you know Su Qingni?" Yu Xianlin asked expectantly. Su Qingni smiled widely. "I know him. Su Qingni and I are relatives. We live together." "Really?" Yu Xianlin's eyes were shining. No, where do you live?" Su Qingni laughed. "He lives in." After reporting the address to Yu Xianlin, watching Yu Xianlin write it down very carefully, Su Qingni smiled even more. Chapter 73 Ancient Canon Fodder Girl 23. As the saying goes, it takes only a little time for a girl to catch a boy, and Su Qingni doesn't have so many requirements for his wife now. There are many girls in the border town, but Su Qingni doesn't like many of them. Even if he doesn't have many requirements for his wife, it can't be too bad. Therefore, when Yu Xianlin appeared in front of Su Qingni did not reject her and accepted her naturally. After 2 months, Yu Xianlin became Su Qingni's wife. Although Su Qing's feelings for his new wife were not as deep as his feelings for his first wife, he was still very satisfied with this wife and his wife's family. Therefore, he took good care of his two brothers-in-law and let them work in the shop opened by the Su family. The eldest brother-in-law had the help of the Yu family, so Su Qingxing didn't need to arrange it. Yu Xianlin was grateful to Su Qingxing for taking care of her family, and her consideration for Su Qingxing was even higher. The couple had a harmonious relationship, and 3 months after the marriage, Yu Xianlin was found to be pregnant. This time, she was truly integrated into the Su family, and Su Qingxing really put this wife in his heart. Yu Xianlin had a difficult delivery, but fortunately, there was Su Qingni, a sister-in-law with excellent medical skills. After marrying into the Su family, Yu Xianlin knew Su Qingni's true identity and kept the secret very well. She didn't even tell her own family. Yu Xianlin gave birth to a big fat son and saved her life. Then Su's second sister-in-law Du Nik also became pregnant and gave birth to a child. Both the eldest and second brothers had children. In the following years, the third generation of the Su family was born one after another. In 5 years, the eldest brother Su had 2 sons, and the second brother Su also had a son and 2 daughters. The Su family gradually became prosperous. In these 5 years, Su Qingxing seized the opportunity to meet the former garrison commander General Zhang, and was appreciated by General Zhang. He became a civilian staff member in the army and was highly valued by General Zhang. He has always adhered to the practice method taught by Su Qingni. His body has improved, his strength has increased, and his body has become more flexible. With this so-called internal force in his body, he can pull the strongest bow in the army. However, Big Brother Su is good at hiding his weakness. No one knows that Big Brother Su is stronger than the strongmen in the army. Others think that Big Brother Su is a weak civilian and have no defense against him. If Su Qingxing wants to kill them, she will definitely kill them one by one, easily. As for why Big Brother Su wants to enter the military camp, it is not because Big Brother Su wants to make military achievements to overturn the case of the Su family. As long as Emperor Changshuo is the emperor, the Su family will not be able to overturn the case. Big Brother Su knows very well that the neighboring countries have been facing the handover of imperial power and internal friction in recent years. They cannot launch a war against the David dynasty for at least 10 years, and naturally there is no military merit to be established. The reason why Big Brother Su entered the military camp was because the news from the capital made Big Brother Su feel that the world was about to be in chaos, and he had some plans in his mind that needed to enter the army to be implemented. On this day, Su Qingni received an old friend who came to visit her in the border town at home. "I thought you would not come to the border town," Su Qingni said to Feng Boi with a smile. Feng Boi smiled and said, "After getting married, life became comfortable. During that time, I just wanted my family to live in peace." Su Qingni asked, "Why are you coming to the border town now?" Feng Boi sighed, "The world may be in chaos, and the border town will be the most stable place." Su Qingni, "You have the same idea as my eldest brother." Feng Boi's eyes lit up. "Can you introduce me to your brother?" Su Qingni nodded. "We'll have dinner at home tonight, and my eldest brother will come back for dinner." "Okay." Feng Boi agreed. Su Qingni glanced in the direction of the inner courtyard and smiled. "I didn't expect you to get married with Niangniang." Feng Boi also smiled. "I didn't expect it either. He, a lonely star, could actually marry a wife, and his wife gave birth to a son and a daughter for him. This was something he had never dared to think about before. He once took his wife and children home and put them on the family tree. When the Feng family saw his wife and children, they were all stunned, and the people in the entire county were also stunned. The rumors about him being a lonely star were shattered by the facts. Without the so-called lonely star fate, the Feng family wanted him to stay in the Feng family, but he refused. After going to the family tree and worshipping the ancestors, he took his wife and left the county where the Feng family lived and returned to the county where the Yu family lived. Don't say that he didn't care about his family now that he had the Yu family. The Yu family saved his life, and his father-in-law appreciated him for marrying his daughter to him despite the rumors. This kind of warmth and affection was something that the Feng family had never given him. In comparison, his heart naturally leaned towards the Yu family. Su Qingni knew from Feng Boi's narration that Feng Boi had stayed in the capital for a long time and saw how suspicious, self-willed, and nepotistic Emperor Changshuo was. With such an emperor around, Feng Boi would never take the imperial examination to become an official. Now that he has no sixth finger, He can take the imperial examination whenever he wants. But he couldn't take the imperial examination before, but now he doesn't want to take the imperial examination himself. Feng Boi didn't want to stay in the capital anymore, so he left. Thinking about his agreement with Su Qingni, he decided to go to the border town. As a result, he was unlucky and met robbers on the road. These robbers were not moral people. They not only robbed the money of passers-by, but also spared their lives. They believed in cutting the grass and eradicating the roots. Feng Boi was chopped on the body by the robbers. When he saw that his life was in danger, the Zan family who retired and returned home rescued Feng Boi. Zan Niangxi's father took Feng Boi in the team. Zan Niangxi's eldest brother asked a doctor to treat Feng Boi and brought Feng Boi back. Feng Boi has good talent and character. Zan's father admired Feng Boi very much, and several brothers of the Zan family also became friends with Feng Boi. Zan's father intended to make Feng Boi his son-in-law. The main reason is that his daughter is not young anymore. It is not easy to find a son-in-law who suits her heart. Now that she finally has a pleasing one, she naturally has to hold on to it. Zan Niangxi, who was on the side of the women, said to Yu Xianlin and Du Ningke, after breaking off the engagement with a key family, my grandmother passed away first, and then my mother. I kept mourning for 3 or 4 years. I am already over 20 years old and an old girl. Even if there is no halo of divine blessing, many people with good family conditions and who are also motivated will not marry me. Most of them are already married. Only those who are widowed or those who are not ambitious or have various problems at home want to marry me, but my father loves me, how can he agree? Therefore, my marriage has become a big problem. At this point, Zan Niangxi smiled. Fortunately, I met my husband. Yu Xianlin and Du Ningke were happy for her when they saw the happy smile on Zan Niangxi's face. They were all old acquaintances in the capital. They didn't expect to meet in the border town. It was all fate. Chapter 74 Ancient Canon Fodder Woman 24. In the front yard, Feng Boi told Su Qingni the inside story of why Zan's father resigned. It was nothing more than angering Emperor Changshu, and Zan's father had a very hard time staying in his position. Some political enemies took the opportunity to add insult to injury. Zan's father was much more alert than Su's father and Zan's father. He immediately resigned and took his children and grandchildren to leave the capital, which was a quagmire. He saw that as long as Emperor Changshu was in power, the court would be in chaos. Is the court really in chaos? Su Qingni asked. Feng Boi nodded and told Su Qingni all the news he knew. Although Su Qingni was always paying attention to the news in the capital, she had no one in the capital to help her, and she didn't know as much as Feng Boi and Zan's father, who had connections with the capital. Is this what the fairy said about the time coming? Su Qingni muttered softly. What did you say? Feng Boi asked. Nothing. Su Qingni said, I decided to go to the capital. I'll go with you. No. Su Qingni refused. The distance from the border town to the capital is not close. I can walk much faster alone than with you. Oh, then I won't go. Feng Boi didn't particularly want to go to the capital. If he was still alone, he would definitely follow Su Qingni to the capital, but now he has a wife, children, and family, and he won't abandon them to follow Su Qingni. Su Qingni asked the servants to bring out the go board and invited Feng Boi. Let's play a game. Okay. The two played a game, and Su Qingni gave up. The eldest and second brother Su, who had returned at some point, stood aside and watched for a long time, and only spoke at this time. Okay. Su Qingni looked at Feng Boi with admiration in his eyes and said to him, let's play a game. Su Qingni stood up, gave up his seat to his eldest brother, walked to sit opposite Su Qingni, and watched Su Qingni and Feng Boi play Go. Su Qingni and Feng Boi were a match made in heaven. The game was so exciting and fascinating that even Du Ningke, who had come to have dinner with the others, was attracted and forgot her original intention. She stood behind Su Qingni and watched the game quietly. Then, Yu Xianlin and Zan Niangxi, who came out to look for people, were also attracted. The game lasted until the moon was above the willows, and Su Qingni lost half a point and ended the game. I lost. Although Su Qingni lost, he was very happy. He hadn't played chess with such a worthy opponent for a long time. Although his younger brother and sister were also good at chess, they were still far behind him, and his sister was busier than him every day and couldn't find time to play chess with him. He looked at Feng Boi expectantly. Brother, are you coming to the border town to settle down? Feng Boi also felt very happy. After hearing Su Qingxing's question, he understood what he meant and smiled. My wife and I came to the border town to visit a friend. He glanced at Su Qingni, and Su Qingxing knew that Fengboi's friend was his sister. Hearing Fengboi continue, to be honest with Brother Yunqi, Su Qingxing's name, in addition to visiting friends, we came here to avoid disaster. The Central Plains is likely to be in chaos, and the border town will be more stable. My wife, my brother-in-law and I will live in the border town for a while. Su Qingxing admired Fengboi even more. There are not many people who can see the chaos, and the person in front of him is a talent. Su Qingxing smiled and said, we can communicate more in the future. Fengboi smiled and agreed, and made eye contact with Su Qingxing, exchanging information that only the two of them could understand. Su Qingni finally understood why she had to save Fengboi in the first place, because Fengboi was very similar to her eldest brother. She must have seen the shadow of her eldest brother in Fengboi, which was why she took Fengboi away in a way that was almost kidnapping. Seeing Su Qingxing and Fengboi walking towards the main hall together, Su Qingni touched her nose. Her friend was taken away by her eldest brother. Zhan Niangniang walked to Su Qingni, grabbed her arm, put his face in front of Su Qingni, looked at her carefully for a long time, and then said in amazement, Qingni, it's really you. I thought the Su Qingni my husband mentioned just had the same name as you, but I didn't expect it was the same person. If Ningqian and Xianlin hadn't assured me again and again that you were you, I wouldn't have believed it at all. Su Qingni smiled at her friend. I have changed a lot, no wonder you don't believe it. But you have changed a lot too. Zhan Niangniang touched his face and said in confusion, have I changed a lot? Why can't I feel it? Su Qingni smiled and said, you have become more fond of laughing than before. Is it because you are living a too happy life? Zhan Niangniang blushed when she heard this, and Yu Xianlin and Du Nika laughed beside her. Zhan Niangniang snorted and said to the two of them, don't laugh. You have also changed a lot, especially Xianlin. You got what you wanted and married your beloved. This smiling face is different from the bitter and sad look before. Yu Xianlin and Du Nika blushed and went up to tickle Zhan Niangniang. Zhan Niangniang immediately hid behind Su Qingni and used her as a shield. The four women played around as if they were not married. The people in front heard the movement behind and turned their heads to look back. Su Qingxing and Su Qingni both smiled. How long has it been since their wives and sisters laughed like this? Fengboi was shocked. Why did Su Qingni play with three women? Although the border does not attach much importance to the prevention of men and women, this man and woman play. Seeing Fengboi's strange expression, Su Qingxing and Su Qingni were stunned at first, and then they all laughed. Brother Zhongwen, my little sister is here to apologize to you. Please forgive her for deceiving you. Su Qingxing hurriedly bowed to Fengboi. Fengboi said ha, then understood, pointed at Su Qingxing, and couldn't say anything. She. Su Qingni held back her laughter and replied, Qingyi is my little sister. Little sister? Little sister. Su Qingyi is actually a woman. He was rescued by a woman and kidnapped by a woman. Fengboi wiped his face and threw those dark histories behind his mind, determined not to think about it anymore. Fengboi didn't ask Su Qingyi why a girl pretended to be a man. There must be some unknown reason for a rich lady to pretend to be a man, and it must be very unpleasant. Fengboi only made an expression of helplessness but admiration after knowing the truth, and said to the two brothers, if you hadn't told me the truth, I really couldn't tell that Qingyi was a girl. Her words and deeds are more like a man than mine. What's more, her fighting ability is so high. Su Qingni laughed, I also always thought I had a younger brother, not a younger sister. Chapter 75 Ancient Canon Fodder Girl 25. Su Qingyi came to the capital again. Compared with 5 years ago, the capital now seems to be much more depressed. Walking on the street gives people a feeling of panic. Su Qingyi sneaked into the palace that night. 5 years have passed, and her martial arts and light skills have become more powerful, which is incomparable to 5 years ago. 5 years ago, she could easily break into the palace with her mediocre light skills. Now her light skills are even more powerful, and she can enter and exit the palace as if she is in an empty place. Su Qingyi has never been to the palace, and she didn't know where to find Emperor Cheng Shuo for a while. But she was not anxious. Several years had passed, and she still cared about 1 or 2 days. Su Qingyi stayed in the palace to get information, and then went to find Emperor Cheng Shuo's bedroom at night. She heard a lot of news about Emperor Cheng Shuo and the Queen. The news about the two in the palace was completely different from that outside the palace. Outside the palace, everyone said that Emperor Cheng Shuo only favored the queen. For the queen, he abolished the harem, and the entire harem had only the queen as a woman. All the women envied the queen. The emperor only gave his deep affection to one woman. This was even more enviable than the love between the scholars and beauties in the storybooks. In the palace people knew that the emperor did not love the queen that much. The emperor stayed in his own palace for more than 20 days a month, and only went to the queen's palace on the 1st and 15th days of the month. According to the water supply in the queen's palace during those 2 nights, the emperor and the queen were probably just sleeping under the quilt. After hearing this, Su Qingni couldn't help but wonder, like the palace people, does Emperor Cheng Shuo like Kang Yurao? If he didn't like her, why did he chase Kang Yurao so hard in the first place, and let Kang Yurao be the queen when he became the emperor? But if he liked her, why did he treat Kang Yurao like this? Let Kang Yurao live like a widow? What? According to what she had seen Kang Yurao get along with her suitors before, it seemed that Kang Yurao liked Li Yuanhao more at that time. Could it be that Emperor Cheng Shuo cared about Kang Yurao liking someone else, so he treated Kang Yurao like this? Or maybe Kang Yurao had no choice but to enter the palace, but she had never forgotten Li Yuanhao in her heart? But that's not right. Emperor Cheng Shuo was very lenient and favored Li Yuanhao. He would reward Li Yuanhao every once in a while, share any good things with Li Yuanhao, and often invite Li Yuanhao to the palace to discuss matters. As long as Li Yuanhao proposed something, Emperor Cheng Shuo would not object. This doesn't seem like the attitude towards a love rival at all. What's going on? Su Qingni was as puzzled as the palace people. After hiding in the palace for 2 days, Su Qingni finally found the location of Emperor Cheng Shuo's bedroom. At night, Su Qingni touched the bedroom of Emperor Cheng Shuo, jumped onto the beam of the palace, and enjoyed the good show below. Yes, good show. There is no better show than this. Because the actors are too noble, an emperor, a queen, and a cabinet minister. Even if the plot is thin and boring, with these 3 actors, this play is attractive enough. What's more, the plot is also very exciting. There were 3 people below. One in formal attire was sitting on a chair next to the bed, sneering at the 2 disheveled people on the bed. This was clearly a case of catching an adulterer. However, the one catching the adulterer was the queen, and the ones caught were the emperor and the cabinet minister. Su Qingni was completely stunned, and almost fell off the beam. Emperor Cheng Shuo and Li Yuanhao were doing that, and they were blocked by Kang Yurao on the bed? Could she have seen it wrong? In fact, Kang Yurao and Li Yuanhao were on the bed, blocked by Emperor Cheng Shuo. You didn't see it wrong. Su Qingni's voice sounded in Su Qingni's mind, and the tail tone was still lingering. Fairy. Su Qingni was already accustomed to talking to Su Qingni in her mind. She didn't make any sound with her mouth, but only thought about talking to Su Qingni in her mind. Emperor Cheng Shuo and Li Yuanhao, they. Su Qingni was so shocked that she couldn't say the following words. Su Qingni chuckled, they are the kind of relationship you think. How is it possible? How is it possible? Su Qingni simply couldn't believe it. The habit of sharing peaches and cutting sleeves in Long Yang has existed since ancient times. What's so surprising about it? Su Qingni said. But, those were too far away from her, and they were all recorded in books. Su Qingni said, even in this world, there are many. Su Qingni was shocked and couldn't react for a long time. She stared straight at the handsome man who was blocked by Emperor Cheng Shuo behind him, and felt uncomfortable. Her first love was actually another Long Yang Jun. Suddenly, she was shocked and thought of something. Fairy, our Su family was framed by Emperor Cheng Shuo. Was it because I wanted to marry Li Yuanhao? After asking this question, Su Qingni's strength disappeared and she almost fell off the beam. Su Qingni controlled Su Qingni's body in time, sighed lightly, and did not give an answer, but her attitude also explained the problem. Su Qingni's tears flowed down. It turned out to be me. I dragged down the Su family. I killed my father and mother. Su Qingni was in great pain, and the guilt almost drowned her. Su Qingni set up a small barrier to block Su Qingni's crying and let Su Qingni vent her pain in the barrier. She was not very worried that Su Qingni would do irrational things because of guilt. The current Su Qingni was no longer the Su Qingni she met when she first came to this world. The current Su Qingni was determined, and she would not do stupid things even if she suffered such a blow. As long as she vented, she would figure it out. Su Qingni listened to Su Qingni's crying and watched the big show below. After all these years of tempering, Kang Yurao was no longer the time-traveling girl who just came here and could only show off by carrying classic poems from another world. She already had the means to control this harem. Even if she could only control part of the power in the harem, it was very effective. At least, now she can smoothly enter the bedroom of Emperor Changshuo. At least, she has been confronting Emperor Changshuo and Liu Yuanhao for so long, but no one has disturbed her. You don't want to be the queen anymore? Emperor Changshuo asked coldly, looking at Kang Yurao with murderous eyes. Kang Yurao laughed twice. I don't want to be your queen. In the past, she hated the position of queen as much as she wanted it now. At the beginning, she was still so innocent, influenced by romance novels, and her mind was full of the so-called fantasy of the affectionate emperor only loves one person, and she was dazzled by the title of the most noble woman in the world. She happily abandoned those men who were either sincere or just infatuated with her, and walked into this cage called the palace. She thought she was happy, but what was the result? End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.